Welcome, Balls and Brews. Cheers, boys. Pod 19.
Cheers.
Number 19.
God, smell good, dog.
Mm-hmm. That cocoa.
It's delicious, dude.
So got Chuck to my right, or my left, and Zach to my right. What are we sipping
We're
on?
wherever we're at. We're crisscrossed. Tonight we are drinking Samuel Smith's chocolate stout, you guys, and that is chocolate forward.
Oh, it's tasty chocolate forward. Tasty chocolate.
Because it only drinks at 5%, so it really focuses on flavor rather than just that alcohol backbone. It's an organic stout. I don't know what that means. If they
what does that
something.
really mean? I mean, aren't they all organic?
Not necessarily, depending on how shit's grown for what's in it or whatever.
Not
everything's grown
you're
organically,
right.
But they're from New York's in Tadcaster, United Kingdom. This is a English beer. Makes sense. This is very much an English style stout.
It's delicious.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
It's sweet. Oh, it's
definitely, but it's also not as it's super dark as you can see, but it's not incredibly thick. It's not got moto oil.
It's like okay. Do you remember that Asher's, the fucking heart-shaped box that we had that was like so chocolate it was too sweet? It was like that 10% that was like eating a chocolate bar melted down. Yep. This finds that nice middle ground where the chocolate is still heavily represented, but it doesn't over palletize. It doesn't ruin the experience. And not that the Asher's did that. The heart-shaped box was delicious. It just was super sweet towards the end. It was like syrup, right?
It was.
But shout out to the UK. They've been brewing some good beers for a long, long time. Like we can't shit on that. You can't cook food, but you can make beer out there.
Oh, damn.
The English are not renowned for their fucking culinary
It's kind of
skills.
weird when you see their plates. So
They just like peas on everything. It's gross. Anyway, shout out Samuel Smith's. What do we got, Downey?
What's your beer question, Chuck?
Oh, our beer question. How do you widen someone's beer horizon or their view? Because some people, and I'm sure you've met these people, who tell you all beer tastes the same. Have you ever met them people?
Yeah.
We know what beer they're drinking too.
Yeah. I think that you basically, for me, you have to give them better beer of what they're drinking. So if they're drinking those light lagers, you find them a better named lager, introduce them to that, and then if they like that and they see something else of that same brewery, they get that beer, which may be oh, that was pretty good. That's at that brewery. Let me try that one, which, move them up the ladder that way. Through name recognition of breweries, by giving them other lagers, because it's probably a lager. Let's not be joking, right? It's the lager.
Oh yeah, it's the strict. Right, but even then,
Lager guys.
some people just don't even like beer, even the lager, or they you can't.
Some people aren't gonna like beer.
You know what I'm saying though? Some people sit there and tell you a lager and a stout will taste the same, and it's
that's not close.
That's
It's alright.
Yeah, but you're not wrong. I wish that people had. It's hard to open up those that don't want to be opened to beer in any alcohol, I guess. But one beer, once you taste that right one, once you find that flavor, whatever it is, it might be different for you. Let's hear what you like to drink. What kind of beers do you guys like to drink? We like to drink a little bit of everything, obviously. We're gonna have 3 on this pod, by the way.
Most of everything we like to drink.
You don't like sours.
Nope, I don't.
And I don't like lagers. It's kind of funny. I've moved away from those. But yeah, to expand one's knowledge, or base, it has to be in small steps.
Yeah, I think you also just gotta kind of find a profile that's not too overpowering.
100%.
Correct.
And if
You can't drop them into the fucking sours and the heavy IPAs and the big lagers or the big stouts right away.
Nobody's coming back from a triple IPA if you're
you'll
not
turn
ready
them off
for
real
it.
quick.
Instantly,
Yeah.
sure.
Eat like you're eating the fucking beer.
Noshing, yeah, no doubt. But I think it is possible. I think that people should be a little less picky about beer. It's funny because I do have specific things that I will not drink, but I will drink the vast majority of beers. I really will. I just don't want them bottom feeders, man. Bud Light, spoiling in your kegs, not good.
trying to help you out.
Yeah, we're trying to drink good beer. Let's get into some
All right,
sports,
so let's jump into the NFL.
Let's go.
We had the running backs. Basically, the only people did not sign the franchise tag. 2 of them, Saquon and Josh Jacobs. Throughout the week, I don't know, all 3 of us listen to a ton of sports talk radio.
Yeah, absolutely.
We watch Sports Center. We watch just sports in general. People talk about sports. Didn't it feel like the media just was like, oh, poor these guys, poor that, when it's kind of like what was already on the horizon for so long?
I think it's just the initial shock of just some of the names that aren't getting it.
Big time.
They're just overplaying it.
Dalvin Cook is a 4-time 1,000-yard rusher, remains unsigned.
Yeah.
But has had an offer. We just don't know the money type. The Dolphins offered him. We don't know it.
I did not know that, to be fair.
The Dolphins have offered him, and he turned down at least the deal with the Dolphins initially.
Okay.
Saquon had an offer on the table.
Saquon had a relatively decent offer.
We heard 12.
Wasn't awful.
We heard 12.
So $2 million above the franchise, man.
But one of the things I read in this running back thing is that Saquon and Josh never got the offer that was quite higher than the double franchise tag.
20 mil a year?
No,
or?
it's 10 this year and 12
Right.
next year, so it's 22 and change
years.
or something. Neither of the 2 years offers they got were either that or much more than that. So that was one of the other reasons of not signing.
Well, with the franchise tag too, that is the I think might be the only position that it went down.
Yes,
Correct.
Exactly. I heard that too. Yes, ever since the invention and the continuation of the franchise tag. Yeah,
Right. So, I mean, it's just...
it's sad.
Right.
Because
so
the running back shouldn't be devalued.
Because I think that they're both good. Like, I'm one of the biggest components of, and we can talk about it, I told you guys earlier, the last team to go to a Super Bowl with a leading rusher was the 05 Seahawks with Sean Alexander.
He was a stud too.
The last
Steve
team to
Hutchinson and
win
Walter Jones. God, such good.
A Super Bowl with a leading rusher was the Broncos in the late 90s with Terrell
Mr.
Davis.
Mile High Salute himself.
It doesn't happen. I got another screenshot of the last 13 years of running backs that won the Super Bowl of what they are getting paid. Not one of them's over $2 million.
Well, yeah, the game has changed. It's
right.
changed,
And
that's
it's not
why
that the
we're
running
seeing
back's
this.
devalued. It's not the person that's being devalued. It's the position that's being
Right.
devalued.
Well, of course, you're not commenting on the character of the person, but what you're basically telling them is like, if you think about the responsibilities of the running back, they do everything. They pass block, they run block, they catch, they run, they do. They're
The
decoys.
good ones
They're
do. The good ones do.
Right. Well,
Some don't. Some can't.
The ones that are deserving of the money that they're polling for, like these guys, like Jamal Williams led the league last year in touchdowns and signed a $12 million deal for 3 years, like $4 million a year. Like,
Let's calm down with that fantasy talk, though. He's a good short yardage guy, but he's not breaking anything like.
Like you're. We just
It's a
watched
different
two.
class.
We watched two of the best
Understood.
this year, though. So you got Christian. If he's healthy, he's top dog.
right,
Top
and
dog.
he's paid top dog.
D.
though.
Henry
He
is top rusher. But if you start looking at D. Henry's last 2 years, they have been muddled with injury. Like multiple games, like
He's
a lot of
big
games.
boy with a lot of fucking
Right. So then you get Saquon is up there as a good pass catcher, run block, pass.
everything.
block.
He's a 3-down back for
Same
sure.
with Josh, right? Probably the top
I'd
five.
say his pass protection isn't as good as Saquon, but yeah, you're not like, oh shit, he's gonna blow the assignment.
Probably top 5 of the running backs, pretty close. You could argue there's a couple more in there. So you have 2 of the top 5 not signing. Dalvin Cook's one you could argue to be in the top 5. Offer was wide one team and denied because it wasn't high enough. So we haven't seen that Dolphins offer, but
So playing GM, you're GM of the Raiders and the Giants. Do you sign those guys or why?
I think you have to sign them both because I don't think you're not. I think the only way your team is good is with them.
Do you know what the Giants did? They went
They
and
went and
got
got.
James
That's what I
Robinson.
was going to say. So I think that the
Highly underrated. I think
that-
he's not Saquon.
I don't love
But I
the
think
4 or
he's a good player.
5 year contracts for these running backs, but a 2-year contract at like 13, 14 is where I'm maxing out. And you can't. Neither team's going to win without their backs. If the Raiders have any shot of pushing for a wild card spot, it's because Jacobs has a great year.
I would tend to lean on the other side of that argument in the fact that I think the Raiders have more without Jacobs than the Giants have more without
I agree,
Saquon.
but I still think the Raiders need him as a team
Oh,
to
of
make the
course.
wild card. I know.
Of
I think
course.
the Giants are fucked without Saquon.
Yeah, and I think the Raiders aren't going to like their situation without Jacobs. Like,
But they're more prepared with the weapons they have. I do agree.
Yes.
And I'm kind of there with you both. Like, I know the market's telling you not to sign those guys, but those guys are more important to those teams because of the rest of that roster.
That's the whole thing.
And
That's
Correct, and I think
absolutely
you
the
gotta,
argument
like-
specific to that
So
situation.
you know what it is? It's because you have a mild-mannered quarterback. I hated the Daniel Jones signing. I thought you should have given Saquon the bag. You should have given Saquon the bag first.
And then you throw the franchise tag on Jones.
Because who was going to argue the
Absolutely.
32?
Yeah,
Or who was going
you're
to
not.
offer him? Nobody. So
Right.
you should have done that. So you fucked that up anyway.
Because he's still getting paid. He's
Correct.
happy with 32.
Oh,
Come
dude,
the
you're
fuck
getting,
on,
and then you
dude.
fucking gave him the other one. Okay.
And you still got Saquon,
You
yeah.
should have done that.
Fumbled it. That's a fumble.
This is the year for Daniel Jones, and not having Saquon is going to make this the year that the Giants realize that they're fucked because they have no fucking quarterback. Without Saquon, that team is fucked.
Do you think Saquon sits out?
I don't know how you can. I don't because it doesn't look. I don't know if you can. We saw Le'Veon just say that he shouldn't have done it.
I don't think he misses the whole season, but I think he might miss a couple games.
Does he sit in is a bigger question. Comes back and goes, ooh.
Yeah, sure.
But then do you, okay.
That's how he's gonna
then
get
as a
paid.
GM, do you like a dude or are you pissed off as a teammate that a dude is sitting in, that he's not playing every game because he's like maybe hurt, but not real hurt?
If I'm looking at a guy like Saquon Barkley and I'm anybody else on that Giants team, I'm looking at him like, fuck, dude. Like, I get it. You can't get in front of there is an unwritten rule amongst the locker room that you do not get in
No,
front
I
of
know.
somebody's back. Like, they will.
But not playing hard when you come out. Holding out, I think if you're going to hold
Yeah.
out, you hold out. But once you show up, I think you got to give 100.
Because you're taking a roster spot.
Yes.
I get that, and as a professional who's trained themselves for years and years and years
I
to be
think the
this,
dude-
it's hard to turn that
And I
off.
think we're going to talk about him in here in a little bit, about somebody that just shows up and isn't there to
goes
help.
through the motions
Right.
rather than
But yeah, I think the running back thing is incredibly curious. You've seen the kid from Ole Miss come out today. We're going to talk college football a little bit later. Kid from Ole Miss come out today and say he's really worried about coming into the NFL's running back because of the market. It's a real problem. So I had an idea. Zach Barnes, another person home now. He's a guard, best guard in the game, right? Probably.
I
One
think
of
his
them.
rated is
Tell
the
us.
highest
the
Madden guard.
PFF pretty fucking high. Yeah.
I had a little interesting thought. Let's do a GM game. We're going to pick position groups. Leave your favorite position groups.
Where you value
them.
you value the most.
Correct. So obviously, is it all three of us quarterbacks one?
I
Correct?
don't know, man. Honestly, I might put, and it doesn't make sense because that's not what I watch on Sundays. But the DNs, the D line. If you can disrupt the quarterback, it's almost better than having a great quarterback.
So I was
You
gonna
just
say,
said the word
almost.
almost.
I said that's what I was
one
going to
is
say. D
one is
line
QB.
would be 3 for me because O line would be 2.
To protect the
Because you got to
quarterback.
protect that motherfucker that's standing back there. So that's where the Zach Martin thing comes in. I know it's just guard, but dude, having a great offense line is real fucking nice. So where do you go after that? So if I go quarterback, offense line, D line, Trev, where you at? 1, 2, 3.
Dang. Let's see. We doing.
Just 1, 2, 3 for right now, and then we'll roll through like just what position wise, random.
I mean, wide receiver and corner got to be pretty close to the next spots, I would think.
That's where I was thinking. Maybe my 4, 5, and 6 are in that. Receiver maybe at 4 having a number 1 or a good receiver at 4 is great. Then maybe go corner and tight end, or do you go tight end corner?
No, corner over tight end, all secondary for sure.
If
Even
you can have a
safeties
t-
over tight ends. If I think about it.
I don't know, dude.
If you value.
If you can
They
get
have
that top dog tight end, Look at what those
Kelsey's
and
I get it,
Kittles
but
and
like
Andrews
when
do.
Earl Thomas was at the top of his game, you didn't throw deep on the Seahawks.
No, he was running.
I don't
He was
give a
running
fuck
shot.
if you knew what down it was and what you had to get. You ain't getting it past 20 yards.
Yeah, he was running shot back there.
So
Ed
then
Reed,
we-
Troy Polamalu.
We in agreement then? Safety then tight end?
For me,
I don't know.
For me,
love.
yes.
For me, I want to go those 1, 2,
You want
3,
tight end,
and then I
safety.
want to go maybe a receiver, corner, and then I want to go tight end, and then safety.
I go safety
I love
over
that tight end.
personally. I get it, bro. I'm TEU when I play fucking college football. Like my
I think-
whole
and I think
scheme
in the
schematics are built around.
I
tight
think in
ends.
the pros, it is one of the hardest positions to guard if you have a dominant play. If not the hardest position to guard.
Because they can do anything on any play.
If you can get one that runs great routes, their size, there's no way that people are getting by that size. I think that yes. I think it's one of the hardest positions.
You know, with the rule changes, the tight end might be the more valuable position between the two.
See, that's
Rule
the other,
changes. Please speak on which ones.
I'm just talking about the game being more of a passing game.
the safety,
Giving
then that
more
hard hit
value
safety that
to
was coming
the catcher
downhill,
than the
just
defender.
that can't exist.
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
yeah, that's you're not having Ronnie.
They
Moss.
can, but
you're
they're
not
not- yes.
having fucking. Yeah, no, I get it.
Now
I
the
get it.
downhill safety has become that other linebacker.
the hardest.
That like other linebacker that's in there that's kind of
The
going
box,
side
yeah.
to side
The
now.
box.
It's a new age linebacker is that downhill safety.
the linebackers have kind of become safeties, dropping weight.
That too.
catch
That
with
too.
all of
If
the
you're not playing a
receivers.
bona fide like middle linebacker, the off the ball linebacker, that's another position that they technically
Linebacker.
devalue. But goddamn, do you have to know a lot to play it successfully?
And-
Son of a bitch.
So my point is, we've already gone through almost every position, and now one of us has argued that running back should have been either in the top
I
7.
guess
of
that's true.
position
I didn't
rankings.
touch. I wouldn't even. I would. Everybody that I've just touched on, I would kind of make more important than my brother.
Other than maybe your middle linebacker, because
Yeah.
your edge is technically going to be maybe the edge of your rusher. You can argue however you want to roll on your middle, but other middle linebacker. We even said safety. We even said fucking safety.
Safety's up there for me when it's right. Dude, secondary in general.
So then
I think there needs to be
just middle
yeah.
linebacker and running back not even touched. And I think right now you're seeing it in general. The middle linebacker
I'd
and the running
probably
back are the two most devalued
take
positions.
even linebacker ahead of the running
I
back.
would too.
And then
I would too.
Agreed.
Fullback.
No, that's 100%.
Kicker, special teams.
And it's nothing against these guys. I love Josh Jacobs. I like Dalvin Cook a lot. I like watching Saquon when he's healthy. I think it's cool to watch a good running back. But
Of
it's
course.
technically, look at last year, Chiefs,
There's a
7th round
lot
pick.
of them. There's
You
just
see
a
it
lot of them. is the
everywhere.
thing. Yeah. There's diamonds in the roughs more in that position than any other.
If you have a
one.
good offensive
That's-
line, guess what happens?
that's
You
the whole
most
point.
likely have a good running back.
Scheme, coach, offensive line can make an average player look like a great player for a season or two, right? Like,
100%, right?
DeMarco
Shanahan's made a
Murray,
career of
fucking
it.
yeah.
I thought DeMarco was actually kind of good. I just thought, yeah, I was.
But I'm just saying
Right,
though, like
yeah.
there's been that exact perfect storm can make it's like a receiver playing with an insanely good quarterback, and then they go to a bum fucking quarterback, and it's like, why did this guy fall off? Because he doesn't have Peyton Manning throwing him the fucking ball. Like, no wonder why. Like,
Right.
you know, when you're a dependent position, that's why the quarterback is the number one. Is because he's the
Catches the ball
It's
every
just
play.
every time. Him and the center are the only two that touch it every fucking time.
Correct.
Unless there's the wildcat, but that's a relatively. Most people do not run that.
Yeah,
if
that
you're
was
saying
snipped out pretty quick.
in a
Once-
traditional sense, the quarterback touches the ball every fucking. He is the commander. He
Decision maker.
instantly, and it's got to be fucking quick too, boy. They're trying to kill you.
So one of the running backs, Saquon, scrubbed his social media of anything that said Giants.
Childish.
What's your guys' feelings on that? My feeling on it, it seems like it's like high school stuff. Like, oh, I'm just gonna scrub my social media. When they do it in any sport, I just feel like it is so
They do.
childish. You just said it. I feel like it is so childish. What's your thoughts? I wrote it down through the week. I was like, God, man,
I don't know. Do we sound like old men just because?
get off my lawn. Get off my lawn.
Stop skateboarding on the sidewalk.
I don't know. I think that we do a good job of falling on both sides of the newer stuff and the older stuff. But the scrubbing my social media seems so.
Well, they're just
Hey.
that generation that's how you communicate everything.
It is.
It is.
No,
yes.
To be
Good
fair,
point.
okay,
Good point, Trev.
right, because let's rewind the clock to a little app or a little website known as MySpace, okay? They had the top 8, right? And that was a statement. If you move somebody off your top 8 and they went and visited your page and they weren't there, you were saying something to them. That's kind of been a thing even for us. You never MySpace? That's a lie.
Not a lie. No, not at all. Really?
No, he's lying.
No.
I tried MySpace and then never went to Facebook.
You know, and
that was
good.
my.
But it's
Facebook
super
is
childish,
devil.
right? We
But
all
no,
agree.
the point is that like it's trying to make a point where even though like Saquon has been the most honest person you've seen in this whole situation. I don't like this. I want to do this. I have to do this. I don't know. I don't like. He doesn't like his position. He's not sitting there like, whatever, it's team's fault. He's just like, this sucks, dude. Like, I want to play. But I also want to be valued. I want to get paid for what I'm fucking do. Like,
and somebody at his position, as far as being one of the top running backs, you gotta kind of step out for the other guys too.
Correct.
You're
That's what
making,
Josh Jacobs said. He
you're
said it's
making
not
the
necessarily
cap
for me.
for the rest of you guys
Yeah,
to
you
get
have
tagged.
to. You have to.
That's what Jacob said. He said it's not necessarily for me when he didn't sign it earlier. It's for everybody else.
Right.
Let's unfortunately be
Gotta
real
represent.
about this, because if the NFL basically sets the precedent that running backs will no longer be paid at a premium position, who's going to want to play running back?
Nobody.
Who the
And then you heard all
Look at
week.
these tight ends. We got tight ends getting fucking 14, 15, 16 million dollars, and they're catching 40 balls a game, where a running back who's touching the ball 200, 250 fucking times is not getting that kind of money.
That's why when we talked about, I think 2 weeks ago on a pod, I said I think that one of the things they should do is that running backs should come in the league with a 2-year, third-year option. And then you can sign that next 3-year deal and maybe get another 2-year deal after that.
Well,
I think that they need, but it's fucked. They're like, we talked, one of my notes says, star running backs have Zoom. Trev brought up a good point that Nick Chubb came out and said,
that there's not really anything they can do right now. They like Zach was talking about, they need to get the CBA to change. Until that happens, if they continue on the trajectory that they're on, that position talent is going to shrink, and then there'll be even fewer good running backs.
Why would you train kids to be a running back when it's like, okay,
you take the most hits and you
you're
get paid the less
brutalized
amount.
all the time.
Still, there's going to be the guys that want to get on the field, and that's they're going to be their in.
Sure, that's
Because of the talent. Because they can't. Some people just can't catch.
I mean, you can play
Or run
defense
the
and you can't
routes.
catch.
Or run the routes. Some more news in the NFL. Some good news, and then it's kind of funny how some good news is followed by a thing that we talked about last week. So Dan Snyder's sell of the team of $6.05 billion goes through. And then he gets hit with a $60 million fine. Right after that, after the week we talk about, we don't find anything else happen about the Snyder stuff. Boom, 60 mil because he's trying to touch some gal, and then fuck the NFL out of like 11 million because he was holding cash revenues.
Yeah.
So we only get that part with everything else that happens. So we get a little closure. Feelings?
It's shit's corrupt at the top, and Snyder was one of the worst examples. He almost flaunted it to an extent. Like,
yeah, and from someone who claimed to be a fan, I know he spent money early, but what happened to the stadium and
FedEx Field literally
fans.
fell apart on Jalen Hurts. It almost fell on him.
Yes.
Like, it was ridiculous last year. Like,
There's
it
so
fell
many
apart.
things wrong with that stadium. The
Sure.
turf, they got shit leaking out of the.
And Washington, that DC area is home to more millionaires per capita than any other
But
city
they're also
in the
a
nation.
really good fan base. Those Commanders / Redskin fans, dude, they love that team.
Get the hog mollies,
Dude.
Did you see though? Because Snyder sold,
Okay.
the guy that owns all those fucking other names probably will let Josh Harris have one of those names and will release the trademark, so they might be able to be like the Red Hawks or
Red Hawks or something.
So we might have.
I did hear of a potential name change.
Quick one. Washington football team or Commanders? Better name. Chuck, you start.
Honestly, Washington football team was
Trev?
better, which
I
is
agree.
great.
I don't like. The
I agree.
Commanders.
That's a 3-0.
Wow, I
what's
get
the
it.
fucking what's up?
I get it within like the scope of like the Washington Commanders. It's a military. I get it. Washington D.C. I understand the tie-in. Like but it just doesn't flow. It just doesn't sound
it kind of
good.
sucks. It sounds like
It's
a
weird to
soccer
say
team.
that Washington football team sounds better.
It sounds
It
like
does. It sounds way better.
But
And the WTF or the WFT, it looked okay. Like the abbreviation was fine. Yeah.
I don't mind the W that's on their helmet, so you don't necessarily have to change it. Like the W with the red, the yellow outline W. It's not bad. So good news there, both. But it is funny. Boom, sell a team. Bam, here's $60 million fine, which is
because now it's
$6
now
billion.
because now it's different
matter.
though. But no, because now it's different in the fact that like
He's not an owner.
Exactly. He's not legally tied to the NFL. All of everything that happens outside here now is on you, Dan Snyder. It has nothing to tie back to the NFL.
If
We are
you're
no
Dan-
longer your employer or umbrella that, you know.
If you're Dan
fan base is
Snyder,
stoked.
do you just sell off on the yacht that you're already sitting in the France and take
Yeah,
the
you don't
60
give a
bit,
shit.
or do
Absolutely.
you
Yeah.
all of a sudden pop back because you have shit on people?
No, you pay off whoever the fuck you need to and you go off into the fucking sunset with a fucking little...
Dan Snyder seems like
That
an
would
asshole.
be the way to do it, but he is. I could see.
Dude,
he is.
Dan Snyder seems like
You
an
think he's the
asshole.
vindictive type? He's gonna
He
come
seems
back
like a
and-
vindictive.
Ah,
Kinda.
man, Snyder, don't do it. You got the best out for a slime ball that any slime ball could get, dude. Write it out. Pay off the motherfuckers. You have so much money. You can wipe
Slime
your
balls don't
ass.
see it
You can
that
wipe
way
your
now.
ass with Benny's for the rest of your life and not worry about it, dude. Like,
Other news.
Other news.
Positive for me.
bum, bum, bum.
Jimmy G passes the physical.
That's
to play.
big, dude. I really think that's big because
But,
they were
down-
potentially saying that he might not play a game.
Down.
So.
Well, I've read a lot about the Aiden O'Connell stuff. I've kind of been talking about it.
Yeah, you have been hyping him up. You have been on the
Also,
hype train.
downside on the same Raider stuff, Tyree Wilson starts on the PUP
He did.
list.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was worried about that the whole time with this whole foot thing. But the Jimmy G thing I think is big. I think that I think that the Raiders need to sign Jacobs. But I think if you're going to be any type of sneaky playoffness, you need Jacobs to be there, and then you need Jimmy G to almost play 13
season.
games. You need at least 13.
Almost 13 games. Come on, Jimmy.
You know, you might have a bump and bruise here and there, but if you can get a good, because just you can see it. You see it you saw it with the Niners. He kind of not commands respect, but he gets the respect.
No,
of
he's
the
a
team.
locker room guy. That if there's a narrative that's always been across his career, is that he's a well appreciated and liked man from top
And he
to
works
bottom.
hard. He's not
Sure.
slacking.
Can't shit on that.
So I do like the Aiden O'Connell. I've been really preaching it to these guys. I think I've talked about it on the podcast. I've read good stuff. But the way the Raiders win this year is if Jimmy G is 13. So I think that's positive news, Raiders.
Who are you? Okay, so other running backs. Zamir White, right? He
Zamir
drafted him
White,
last year.
I'd have to look if he signed
Oh,
Abdullah
man, see,
to sign.
exactly.
But
We don't
Zamir
even-
White's supposed to be the dude. He had
Right.
a couple more games
But
last
we
year
don't
where
even
he
know.
looked-
We don't even know 2 to 3 running backs right now on.
Amir Abdullah's the other one.
Amir Abdullah,
He's
isn't he
the-
like 45?
He was there with us last year. He caught good out of the backfield. He's like that nice third down back.
Wait, so you're?
And
Why
Bolden,
wouldn't you sign Dalvin Cook? Why wouldn't the Raiders sign Dalvin Cook?
well, he's not going to take the money that's being offered from the Raiders.
Yeah, if they're not going to pay Jacobs, why are they going to pay Cook?
Because he wants the same amount. They're
No.
looking for that. Yeah.
No, you think?
There are a lot of them are pushing
16,
that.
15,
no, not
16?
It's even that.
Because that's McCaffrey, right? It's 16. That's the top of the market.
It's getting past the thing they said, and the article I read is that it's getting past whatever the double-year franchise tag mark is. So it's 10 this year and 12 next year reportedly. So it would be getting past that
You
22
would only
yards.
go up $2 million on your second franchise tag?
It's
That
something
doesn't
like
make sense. I thought
Or
it
maybe
had-
it's 26. Maybe it's 10
Hey,
and 14.
dude,
It's
you
not
could-
much for running backs. It's not the
But I
quarterback.
thought that second franchise tag was like almost
It's
double.
the third
right?
one.
It's the third one. Is
It's
that
the
what happened with
third.
Cousins?
It's
He
the
was about to
third.
get his third
It's
one.
the
He did
third
get
one.
franchised twice. I do remember
But
that.
it's
as a
different
quarterback.
running back wise.
Right.
It's the
But I
leaders
just,
are talented other
I thought the
positions.
percentage. All right. But still, okay, I understand the argument, but man, the
But
running back
Dalvin
position.
also supposedly turned down a Dolphins offer, which we haven't seen the numbers. So I know we're getting back to running backs. We spend a lot of time on it, but I think it's kind of a big talking point.
For the NFL right now, it has to be because
Um,
everybody else is getting the bag, but the running backs, and they get smashed on. They have to know a lot of shit.
I think the CBA has to be changed before anything else happens.
I think that's their only leverage. Or not leverage, but that's their only out. Otherwise, the owners just get to say no. $2 million.
100%.
I don't need you. 1.5.
An article
Keep
I-
talking.
An article I saw.
1.2?
An article I saw this week talked about Tom Curran, who's a big-time Patriots reporter, talked about the Bill Belichick's on the hot seat and has been on the hot seat for a while. I talked about that he was one of my guys just out of the top 5 a couple weeks ago. As going into this season, do you believe that report? He's a big-time Patriots. Do you see a Bill Belichick? I know Chuck said there's no way.
I put that on wax earlier, but I don't know, man. The smoke has been real.
Dude, I mean, the bullshit he pulled last year, I think you just basically almost Urban Meyered it, where you took a whole year away from...
Oh, my God.
You took a whole year away from your quarterback.
You did. That was bad, Bill.
And what did we all say at the beginning of this? Quarterback is the position we all valued. TB left, and you've been mediocre every year, and you've been playing the shitty ass Jets, and the Dolphins only got good last year. So that's been 4 wins out of the 8 you got. So you found 4 of the wins. When you play in shitty divisions, finding the division wins it's not bad when you're fucking crushing these shitty teams.
The Patriots feasted on that.
Right. So now with Bill and not having Tom, what do you got? I mean, I think he's on the hot seat. I don't know if he's can this year. I think if he sucks this year, he might be done next year.
I think he would have to have a really bad year. Like, if it's
epically bad, dude. Like, I mean, 3-14 style.
What happens if they're just barely beating teams and the offense still is just pitiful?
That's a W, baby. Barely beaten is still beating teams.
Yeah, if you got a winning record.
If they win
not
every game
record,
17 to 16, who the
I'm saying
fuck
like
cares?
7 wins.
7 wins?
Like almost close to mediocrity.
Then I will not say that he's fired, but if he chooses to coach the following year, the seat is beyond hot.
Because you're not 7, you're like that, right?
All you're watching is regression now, and you're probably ruining Mac Jones in that process, which means you're ruining the most important position in football. What are you gonna do? Like, Belichick's known as a defensive guy anyway. They're known not to pay on the offensive end. They do it every year.
But when your dude's the best at that position,
right,
that touches ball every time,
you let him
it's
elevate.
a whole different fucking ballgame
100%.
offensively.
Versus fucking Mac Jones.
We also think that he had one of the best duos of all time with Gronk. He's 3: Gronk, Edelman, and Moss. Tom Brady could be argued that, so he, not necessarily weapons, but he had dudes that were like pretty fucking reliable. You can almost say Gronk's one of the best tight ends.
Gronk is one of the best tight ends.
Well, you can tell you. I mean, if you wanted to, could you argue he's the greatest? You can argue it. But
I mean, you can't. If you can't not give him a vote, like,
Correct.
I don't know if he's full send, but you can't not throw him in a conversation. He
100%.
missed a decent amount of time because of injury, and like he retired twice technically, but he has is it 3 or 4 Super Bowls? Like,
does he have 5?
When Gronk was
Maybe 4. Maybe.
When Gronk was Gronk, he
was unstoppable.
He's a better form of George Kittle. Sorry.
Ooh, maybe. Wow.
He's a better
Because he was a
Kittle.
great fucking blocker, but man, he was one hell of a catch.
He's a football guy. He's a football guy.
He's a better receiver than Kittle, and because of his size, I would say that their blocking is similar. I like Kittle's effort. I mean, I'm biased though, so
I know you can be.
It's like what Tony Gonzalez, Antonio Gates. Like, that's 1, 2.
Travis
maybe Shannon
Kelce's
Sharp.
up there.
He has made his name.
Shannon Sharp is up there, but is always going to be taken over by our tight ends nowadays because of the fact they're going to touch the ball more. Shannon Sharp would have been one of the tight ends.
He played.
Same like today's dude.
Same with the first dynamic tight end for the Browns. The dad of the one that came from
Winslow.
Yeah,
Kellen
the first
Winslow.
Yeah. People talk about. I didn't get.
He played for the Chargers.
Chargers.
Yeah.
So they talk about him being like I didn't get to see him play. They talk about him being the first of like the
receiving
dynamic
tight end. Right. Yeah.
You know. So, but yeah, I
mean, even Ditka.
Yeah, even people say Ditka was a dynamic tight end as well, though.
1940.
Let's roll into
rolling.
NBA. We got one topic. I think it's one of the most annoying topics in all of sports. He's one of the most annoying people in all sports. James Harden.
It's kind of an
Articles came out this week about how him and Maury on the outs because he wasn't happy with their progressive to give him a max contract, and he took a pay cut last year to get other players. It's almost, and he's only 34, but it's like he's 100. He doesn't move that well. It seems like he's de-aged. Like, it's not like he's LeBron where he's still going. I don't know why he's surprised. He sees himself in a totally different light than I do.
Yes,
I think he's one of the most annoying players to listen to. He's now demanding himself out in a tweet about how this is going to get awkward. What, you're going to show up fat and lazy like you did for the Rockets and the Nets?
Yeah, probably.
You guys, what's your view on this Harden Morey thing? And going to the Clippers and why would the Clippers trade winning pieces to get him? Is Harden a winner? Does Harden help you? What's your Harden thoughts?
Harden's not a winner. Harden has choked away every major Game 6 and Game 7 he's ever played in. They set an NBA record at 27 straight misses from behind the arc when they were playing the Golden State Warriors, that Game 6, that Western Conference Final or whatever the fuck that was. James Harden is... Well, he's so frustrating because he's a stat monger and he can play. The guy can obviously play the game of basketball. But,
to be fair, I believe he had over 2 40-point games for the Sixers in the playoffs in that series.
One of two of the games. One of 2 games.
So, I think that's all you could ask for. That the team kind of fell flat. Embiid was a big problem there.
Not very good.
And, I dislike James Harden. I do not like his game. It's a lot of dribbling and a lot of trying to draw the foul that I don't feel that's appealing to watch. That being said, I think last year wasn't as bad.
I thought he did a very good job playing the offensive point guard role.
Yeah.
But you got to understand what you're doing at this point in your career, right? He's not dynamic. He's fat, lazy boy. He got those 240, but in the other games he was awful. He can get the bucket. He's always been a bucket at some point. But I don't understand how you...
Yeah, I'm not giving up young assets for him, period.
Right.
Nobody is.
Why sign back in then? Why not go to free agency? Why sign back in? That irritates the fuck out of me.
Yeah, he could have opted out. He opted in.
Yeah, because you want the guaranteed check.
That's exactly
100%.
Because you don't give a fuck about winning.
Do whatever I want.
Exactly.
He doesn't care about winning. He thinks he can just push his way out because he's going to slap dick it when they come back next year. You show up 100 pounds overweight.
100 pounds. That's impressive. I'm not even mad.
No, maybe not.
In fact, that's amazing.
A beard gutted up like he did with the Rockets. That's fucking bullshit.
Oh, dude.
I would have never signed that dude after that. Ever, I would have never. That's
you weren't
the worst.
even. We were off of him before that, but
But that's the worst.
And people were surprised that the Rockets didn't want him back.
Yeah, he fatted his way out. Sorry,
he lazied his way out.
Dude, that's one of the most irritating fucking things in all sports.
Because he tries to stand at the mountaintop and command a high salary and say that he's a needle mover. When he was at one point, he averaged a triple-double for... Well, no. That was Westbrook who did that, yeah. But he won an MVP, though, didn't he?
He won, but he was an offense bucket. But he wasn't necessarily there to win.
Well, he
wasn't
Kobe
in shape. He
Never
wasn't
got him
LeBron
in
shape.
No.
He's always been a lazy fuck.
So hard. Get your shit together.
Going to a non-lazy fuck.
Non-lazy fuck.
Brian Harmon at 13 under wins the Open, also known as the British Open.
Shout out to the majors.
Dude, it looked good too. I watched a couple rounds. Fuck, I love watching it. There was a bunch of guys tied at -7 for second. You had Jason Day, Tom Kim, Sepp, Straka, and John Rahm were all tied for
Those are some
-7.
names there, though.
And then Rory was at -6. So Rory up there again, but not quite getting that dub.
Hey man, top 10 finishes feel fucking good, bro.
But a good weekend for golf. I think that -13 is a good score. I love those -13, -15. I really want to go higher than 15. I don't want to see those real minuses because that means the course is easy. I want to see a little bit of you got -1 or 2 a day. That's the good courses.
Okay, but even still, that's only -8 for a whole tourney.
I do like that though. That's why I like to sit out.
Okay.
And you saw Harmon just had a great weekend.
Bro, if you're golfing a 70, man, bro.
Well, we're already talking
Good
last
for you.
week that we thought all of us
Oh
think
my
golf
God.
was one of the hardest
It
sports
is.
in our family
I'd golf
section.
210 I would triple it up, dude. I would be off. Don't give me a golf
And you
club.
could have patience as a mofo.
Hand-eye coordination, depth perception, all the things that you can't do when you're intoxicated.
You guys
Which is
wanna-
why it's weird that you like to drink a lot on the golf course.
Hey, pre-show we talked slam ball. Let's say a little
Whoop,
slam
whoop,
ball.
little shout out to
Coming
that,
back.
dude. No doubt. Yeah, ESPN, we do dig this. Like it's only gonna resonate with a smaller fan base, but I think it could be legit. Like I will check this
Dude,
out.
I was
really
talking
will.
about tag 3 or 4 weeks ago on ESPN.
Professional tag
Dude,
is
it's
cool as
sick.
shit, dude.
Slam ball, you got the fucking throwing the bags. Dude, it's all fucking fun.
Dude,
It's
slam
all
ball's
fucking fun.
fantastic.
That'd be a good
dude.
watch.
It should be. The athletes should be better. They should have more of a streamlined game. Like there should be a better game.
I mean, yeah, kind of like how tag ball, or like tag was actually like teams. There's
Yeah.
actually like legit teams. It's kind of crazy. Slam ball is going to be more legit.
I think
this
it's
time.
gonna. Yeah, I think it's gonna be good because it was originally on Spike. The first run was on Spike. Like,
Yeah,
that was an
that's-
experimental channel. Like, you know, they didn't really know what the fuck they were doing. It was basically a reality sports show. You know,
It's
so
gonna be cool.
It's basketball.
I kind of.
Baseball's
I
sick.
think it has the potential. It's
Sick.
not gonna be like, you know, it's not gonna move the needle on like fucking mainstream viewership, but I think there's gonna be a fucking solid niche for it. I think it's gonna be good. It's gonna be high energy. I hope the athletes are gonna be freaky. I hope these tramps that they bounce on are just gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
It's gonna be cool. I can't wait.
I'm curious to see what they do with the rules. The scoring was always crazy. The way that they score different
Yeah.
things, like so. There's a lot of you know, open avenues that they could do because I don't know outside of it returning. I don't know what the format is. I have
Me
no
neither.
idea what they're doing with it. But I am interested. ESPN, sign me up.
Let's talk about MLB. So we're getting that trade deadline.
Man,
First,
we're getting there. We're getting there. With
First, let's
Major
give
League
a shout.
Baseball.
I know we all finished our brewski, so we can't give a cheers. Shouts to Fred McGriff and Scotty Rowland being introduced into the Pro Baseball Hall of Fame today.
That's not an easy class to get into, man.
No, no.
That's one of the harder ones to get inducted into. Is the
100%.
Major League Baseball for sure. They let everybody and their mother into the basketball.
Both
Hall of
names
Fame.
for us.
Oh
we
my
love
God.
those guys. We watch those guys.
Oh, Roland, yeah, for sure.
McGriff with those Braves teams.
Oh,
that
yeah.
was awesome.
God,
happy to
they
see those
never
guys.
got the chip though. They got
One.
one chip. They
They
got
got
the
one.
one chip in all of those runs.
One
dude,
of the
yeah.
one of those teams you can look at, just like the late '80s, early '90s failures to like you look at some of the people on those A's teams. Look at those Braves teams.
Yeah, it's
Some of those Indians teams
Oh,
also
man.
at that same time.
The Kenny
mid-90s.
Lofton, Dana
Kenny
Justice,
Lofton, Omar
yeah.
Vizquel.
I love those
Rafael
teams.
Palmeiro was
God, I love
Rafael
those teams.
Alomar was on that team at second.
Dude, we're gonna revisit this too when we
Albert
eventually
Bell.
get into like our baseball card collections. I'm sure that's
I
gonna
honestly
be.
don't have a heavy baseball card. I got some Griffies though.
I got
some dope ass
stacks up there,
Griffs, dude.
boys. Stacks. See those
Yeah, if we
cups?
could move the camera, we'd show you these
Um,
bins of
also,
goddamn
some big
baseball
news.
cards.
Some big news: the O's have now a 2-game lead on the Rays in the East.
Because what was the
O's
Rays
roll.
started out 19-0, wasn't it?
Yes.
Was it
Yeah.
19-0?
I don't know if it was 19, but it was close. They had a great run.
I could have sworn it was
think
somewhere
you're right.
around that. It was some 18, 19. I don't
So-
think they hit 20, but it was something
The
close
Rays
to
were
that.
going into the All-Star game sluggish, and they've come out of the All-Star game sluggish.
Sluggish.
The O's rolling. So good job, Chuck. I know Chuck called this a wild card.
Wild.
Yeah.
The AL East was. Did I take the Sox to win it then? Did I take the Red Sox to win it? Because they're in wild card contention themselves, to be
Kind of.
fair.
I believe
Kind
so.
Shit. Okay.
So you got the trade deadlines August 1st. So I got some sleepers, or not some sleepers. I got some buyers and some sellers.
sleepers?
I do have some sleepers in
Got
there.
some buyers?
Um,
And
buyers,
some sellers?
I think you got your Diamondbacks. Probably gonna maybe look for something to just kind of up there. They're killing it in the West. They get another arm,
Okay.
something go along. They'll be looking. Astros probably also looking for another arm. Everybody's always looking for an arm.
Goddamn Astros.
Rangers.
Rangers are definitely needing an arm because of the DeGrom injury. They are rolling right now. Seager just went on the DL again though for 10-day. But Marcus Semien XA fucking killing it. They got a couple rookies stepping up for them right now. So the Rangers are rolling. Phillies and Giants are super sneakers on the
Super sneakers.
Phillies came into the All-Star break hot, coming out of the All-Star break hot. If the Phillies maybe can find somebody, and I think the Giants maybe find
So
somebody
then,
to sneak up.
who's on the block that we could be looking at moving?
Cubs, you got a Stroman's hot, the pitcher.
Okay, so
Stroman.
they might
You got
be the
Bellinger.
sellers.
Yep, you got
Okay.
Bellinger.
Okay.
White Sox super sellers with that whole staff,
Okay.
and big time sellers, maybe the Mets.
They
maybe
should
get
dump
rid of some of
salary.
that
Why
stuff.
wouldn't they?
You got Verlander, I think, was tied to the Giants at one report I saw. The Giants are injured in Verlander.
San Francisco.
Cardinals and Nationals also kind of sneaky sellers, and I don't ever think of saying the Cardinals as sellers. They said no on Arnado, but Goldschmidt maybe on the block. Dude, somebody picking up Goldschmidt, you're getting a 300.
Why?
average.
Yeah, that guy's fantastic.
Well, the Cardinals are fucking bad right now. They're
not
fucking
good.
holding that down in
They're
that
not
division.
good.
Also, maybe the Marlins, I think maybe too early to make a move. They've kind of come back down. They were kind of up in that east. So we'll see. It's August 1st, get inches, and show.
Doesn't move.
He doesn't move.
Doesn't move.
I don't think he moves. Angels, do they go buying or do they go selling too, though?
They have to.
Rendon's also hurt again. That dude's been hurt ever since he
all the
left the
time.
Nationals.
Literally since he signed.
Not great. Not great. So that's our first segment. We're jumping to the second one. We're going to hit the college football hard. We got some up-and-comers that you look for in the draft. They're going to be the big-time dudes this year. We got some big-time games coming up. Also, we're looking at picking our division winners and our Final Four.
So let's go with that preview life, though, right? Like we're gonna give you a nice little smorgasbord of some college.
Just throwing the
football.
college football in your face at 100 miles an hour.
Come on, EA with that NCAA. Let's go. I wish we had some bearded cheers. Balls and Brews. We'll be back, y'all.
See you guys.
Here we go.
Welcome back to Balls and Brews. Cheers, boys.
Cheers. Cheers. Nice. I like that layered cheers.
Gotta make it happen.
Damn, that's
all right. What are we sipping on, Chuck?
Fall River.
Another Fall River beer.
West Coast
Shout out.
IPA. West Coast Double, baby. It's called Get Bent.
What a
Pretty
great
sick.
can.
Pretty cool
What
looking
a
can.
hilarious name for a beer.
Pretty cool looking can.
It is, you guys, a straightforward West Coast IPA.
I love it.
There is,
Love it.
it is balanced with the hops. There's Citra for sure.
Yep.
Like it's very, very aggressive, but not in like a bad way.
Yeah, I think that's kind
It's
of
a good
just
way
the
to
West Coast hops though. It has
It's that
it's a little
double
bit different.
IPA, sure.
It is. It's
Drinks at an 8.5, so it's technically an imperial. If you were, you could throw that word around after you hit after 8. That's the rule.
Yeah.
It doesn't taste like an 8 though.
No.
So we have actually
Tastes like a
shouted
6.
them out before. Redding, California.
One of our favorite stouts comes off that, or one of my favorite
That
stouts. comes off
the
that.
Irish stout.
Yep.
Tastes
Off
like
tap
a
is
car
delicious.
bomb. It is.
Look off tap.
It is.
Yep.
So college football, you guys, we are on the precipice of week 0. We're a couple 3 weeks away. About
Yeah, so we didn't talk about this pre-show. What, watching wise, is NFL 1, college football 2 for you guys?
Yes.
oh, sports wise,
Yeah. So for me, college football is 1 because I get. So for us, West Coast is cool because me and Trevor are Niner Raider fans. Chuck, it sucks because he's a Seahawks fan.
But that's
In our town, well, no,
in, like, local
watching
market?
wise,
Oh,
watching
yeah,
wise.
yeah. It's tough to
So
local
we
market,
get
for
at
sure.
at different points. You can have Raiders and Niners on in the afternoon, and have just one game in the morning. That game can be either really good or really bad. That's the West Coast in Nevada. That's what you get. College football, we get games from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Dude,
Kickoff can be 7:30.
3 to 4 sometimes going on that are great games, dude.
Yeah.
I love college football. Pro football's 2. I love what college football does draft wise. So the draft is kind of that mediocre area between both. But sorry, just want to know if you were college or pro first.
I mean, honestly,
Or the fans want
so
I'm
sure,
college
dude.
first.
The breakdown for me, honestly, if I still had a basketball team, the NBA would be number 1 for me. That is for sure my favorite sport to watch. I just don't. I'm invested in the Seahawks because that's an actual team that I get to root for.
Well, baseball
Like-
might be maybe my favorite, but college.
Oh, so you're just talking. Oh, then pro over college
Pro,
when it
yeah.
comes to just football.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, man. Shout out to Fubo TV because when I had that shit for college football this
dude,
year,
I still have it. It's
holy
sick.
shit, dude! Every fucking channel, ACC, Big Ten, the Big Horn Network. You can watch fucking.
You get all the CBS network does all the like
all
the
that
Fresno
crazy
State,
shit
Boise
and the
State.
Comcast stuff. Yeah, you get all of the fucking D2 kind of things if you want it. Like
Yep.
Fubo shows out for college sports. I will be picking them up for sure.
And-
But I will say, overall, college football can be better to watch. It's a quicker paced game. They don't slow the game down with
42.
timeouts and with reviews all the fucking time. Like, it's a much quicker bop, get to the line of scrimmage, push, go. Like, even huddle ups only take like 17 seconds versus the NFL's like 40 almost every time, regardless, right? Like,
yeah, for me, like, I invested in the NFL early, so I have a longer running with them. So my love for college, though, is strong, and I'm excited to get into this
All right, T, let's do it.
2023 preseason poll.
So we're going to talk, as Trev works down the poll, we're going to be throwing out different dudes maybe from these schools that are in like preseason, like of going pro. Not, we're not going to try to get real deep into every good player on the team.
pure highlights,
But dudes
right?
that are filling like
Highlights.
rosters on the
Yeah.
NFL, like some top 25 guys.
Some bangers, for
and
sure.
and some games that these teams might be in that you might want to check out, like some big time games that are going to be affecting not just conference title hopes. Because remember, this is the last year of the 4,
Yep.
which it shouldn't be, but it is.
Well, you know what I also love about the NCAA, though, when it comes to, they don't shy away from scheduling. Like, unfortunately, some teams
do.
get away with it.
Some
Yeah,
teams do.
Alabama can skirt around because the SEC is so tough that their out of conference is normally boo-boo. But the NCAA does a great job of finding those, like, under the bubble teams, like 7, 8, 9ers, where they play each other in the first couple of weeks to really kind of see what they got. Like, I love those matchups.
Even
like,
the lower 20s, because we're going to talk
I think
about
that's
one.
I think that's a great move by the NCAA. I think that is exactly what you should be doing there. So I would just say that they have, in a way, I think that the scheduling has gotten better. I really do.
All right, Trev, let's start out. Who's 2-5?
2-5.
All right, starting off.
This is kind of a
UNC.
biggie, right? Yeah, kind of a biggie. Why is that?
Well, I mean,
Drake May.
that's the first thing that comes
Right?
to mind when
Yeah.
we talk.
The only way that he makes it out of the top 3 is if you get a receiver that goes 2 and an offensive tackle. There's a bunch of offensive tackles coming off the board that maybe sneak into 3. Otherwise, Drake May is going 1 through 3, not a shadow of a doubt. The kid checks a box. He's not maybe. I can't wait to watch him sling it one more year at UNC. I watched a couple games last year. It's pretty. I'm excited to see it. It's way better than some of the dudes that came out this year. I'll tell you what.
So we've got some games for UNC. What are their big games? How do they open up?
What? Okay, so I mean they're ACC, so they're gonna have a mashup with Clemson. It's gonna be
Florida
a big.
State
Florida
is
State's gonna be another battle.
They do get that UNC game or that SNC game for the South Carolina. It could be a big game too.
Oh, they play. Oh, okay. Technically,
It's not. It's out of division.
US. Right, no, that's a huge game.
Right.
If you think about it, that's an SEC. That's a fucking
SEC,
right, yeah,
ACC matchup.
100%.
Spencer
big deal.
Rattler, big watching that game too. Can Spencer Rattler become that form that people thought maybe top 5 pick? I mean, last year he finished real strong.
He did.
But let's say UNC wise, UNC, and then they have a solid coach. Having what's his name out of Texas?
Brown.
Yeah, Mac Brown.
I
Love
didn't
Mac.
know they copped Mac Brown. to
Yep,
come
love
back.
Mac as a coach. He's like one of those college coaches you just send your kid to go play
He's
for.
like a million years old though, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's still going to send your kid Bobby Bowden, dude. That's who you want your kid playing for. So yeah, so Drake May, Max Brown, those are like the big UNCs.
Up to at 24,
24, Oregon State.
the Beavers.
Big news for them. I mean, DJ Ungale transferring from Clemson.
It's a big deal.
It'll see
Could
what,
be.
it'll
It
see
could
what
be.
because is he the dude that
No, he's not.
is
That's
he
why
the
he
dude that
transferred.
was so like he kind of got hot and then there's too much pressure and he kind of collapses? He come back for the bigger team and kind of show what he showed us, or is he kind of the dude that kind of collapsed last year?
Well, Clemson ends up getting the new OC, so we're gonna find out. How.
And Clemson's also got the kid that finished last year and he looked fucking good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll see how much the OC was influential for the quarterback position. Oregon State also returns almost too deep as far as starting positions go.
Really?
So
Yeah.
they have a lot of returning
I
players.
think that the Pac-12 is just overlooked and is always going to be, but I think this year's the
Specifically
best
this year.
year. This is a very, very good
Deep
year.
year,
for the
potentially.
Pac-12.
We just
Oregon
cannibalize
State,
ourselves.
with
That's always
Oregon,
the problem.
With USC, I think there is a lot.
Washington, thank you.
You can technically have two of the first three quarterbacks come out could come from the Pac-12, with obviously Caleb number 1 overall, and then Penix making his way in there just with how good he plays. But we're jumping a little ahead. I think Oregon State probably finishes somewhere around there. I don't think they get very far up, but DJ could be big coming there.
No, big games I see out of conference. Do you have any highlights for games?
No, just what happens in. It's one of those.
Oregon, Civil War. It'll be, that'll be the
Any of the Pac-12 at this point because it's the last year of the Pac-12
with the LA teams leading.
Yeah, it's the last year. So this is the best year of the last year.
Pac-10, baby, we coming back.
It's gonna be bad. Fuck, it's gonna be bad.
All right, so let's move it along to 23. We got Baylor. All right,
I think they're just
don't know
building
much
on
about that team, to be fair.
building on the coaching staff that took over with all the, just building on what they've developed from all the suspensions and everything that they suffered during those other years. And they were very surprisingly good last year.
Yeah.
And Trev's who you got returning?
They got returning their quarterback Blake Sharpin and the running back Richard Reese.
That's a nice combo.
Two big offensive production coming back for that team.
I think what hurts Baylor, which hurts that whole division, what you're going to talk about the very next team, is that it's the low end of the Big 12, and without getting those dubs, you're going to be looked at just like the Big 10 or Big 12 gets looked at. A lot of offense, no defense. Are you beating anybody at the beginning? And I don't think Baylor Texas Tech actually has kind of a big game to start out. But I just think that Baylor kind of just, if they are undefeated going into one of those games, they're going to be kind of high because they're undefeated. But can they lose and then come back and win another one?
No.
So yeah, Texas Tech at 22.
Patty Mahomes' alma mater.
Yeah, got the second year for the head coach. They won their last 4 games, including their bowl game against Ole Miss.
Okay. Got that momentum.
Yeah, that's why they're, I think, hanging on at the end of the top 25.
Okay. They get Oregon at the beginning of the year, second week, September 9th.
Ooh.
Another big game between, I think there's a couple of these Pac-12, Big 12 games, which for each division, it's big because everybody overlooks them. We're looking Big 10, we're looking SEC. That's what everybody looks at, right? So if you get Oregon can beat a Texas Tech or Texas Tech can beat Oregon, Texas Tech beating Oregon is very big at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, because Oregon they're going to be heavily favored in that game.
With Bo Nix, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So, Bo Nix is very overrated. I know we're going to get to it soon. I love the kid. I think he's overrated.
Keep it in the Pac-12.
Let's go.
Let's go.
That's huge. Yeah, no. We have some potential there, dude. We have a good wide receiver one with a Duze.
Yeah, we all know about Penix.
Yeah, no, he has the potential to play himself into a very high pick. In
Top
the
15
draft.
He can play himself into.
Oh, easy.
I believe it.
Easy.
I believe it.
Yeah. No, if he comes out, he led the nation last year. It's just, we threw a fuckload.
Starting out depending on how you want to call a week, September 2nd, which could be week 1. It's not week 1 because they have week 0, which is stupid.
Well, it's not stupid. It's great, but why don't they?
But it should just be week 1, right? Yeah. So technically, week.
It's the greatest thing ever. It's just more college football.
The third week of football, week 2.
Right.
Washington has a kind of a big game where Boise State's coming home. You don't want to lose that game. It's a huge game for Boise State.
UW drops games like that all too frequently, to be fair. That's that kind of shit. We'll go out and we'll beat Oregon and then go and drop a game to Cal. What the fuck are we doing, Washington?
They also scheduled Michigan State later in the year.
Love that.
That's a big game.
Absolutely.
Always get those Big 10 teams. If you can get those dubs.
Find a way to get another relevant name, whether it's in their building or your building.
Because then you start looking at who did this person play? Oh, well, they beat Michigan State. Well, Michigan State beat
a quality loss, which is hilarious to say that.
Quality loss is stupid.
But it's a thing. Tell me it's not a thing.
It's a total thing.
Your scheduling matters, and when you have you lose to a blue blood versus losing to a fucking,
Right. You're right.
It's a loss is a loss is a loss, and you never want to be like, well, we almost had them. Like, well, you didn't. You lost. That's an L.
You
But
got
like,
anything more for you, Doug?
Watch out
on
for
overall?
the receiver, though. Watch
Yeah,
out.
I do say. Yeah.
Dude, top
It's gonna-
15.
he could
Maybe
be a
he can move
beast.
himself up.
Could be a beast. He's a
he-
great route runner.
yes.
Silky smooth. Good hands, too.
I love
Good
that.
hands.
I love when the receiver is silky smooth.
Yeah, no, in and out of breaks like a beast.
Oh, I love
if
it,
if they can grow their relationship, they
It
can
should be
both
big.
improve their stock.
Yeah, I'm
big,
interested
big
to
time.
see what Penix.
It's just funny because we're traditionally a running school. We normally produce running backs over wide receivers, and secondary as well. UW
Secondary.
big time secondary school. But
Exciting college football to watch for you.
I know a little bit because we were down in
This
the
year-
dumps going into last year. Penix wasn't even like he was.
I think this year is. Travis said in college football for you to watch is Washington. I think this year's one of the most exciting years because there isn't.
Sure.
You have Ohio, which we're going to touch on a little bit. Ohio State and Alabama got 2 new quarterbacks coming in. There doesn't.
So does Georgia.
SC,
Yeah.
yes, in Georgia. SC has one of maybe the best offense, but we don't know what defense they have. Last year they couldn't make a tackle.
You couldn't stop a nosebleed, bro.
Dude, we watched
That
a couple
fucking-
games last
That
year.
goddamn Pac-12 game was so brutal to watch. Oh
Offensively,
my
it's amazing.
god!
They couldn't
I think we
tackle.
counted. They had like
It
50
was.
plus missed tackles. I mean, an
Get busy in the
astronomical
transfer
number.
portal, though. You
And-
know.
and
Yeah.
so this
no,
year-
Lincoln Riley beefed up the defense. That
So
is
there's
100%
not that
true.
like team this year that you see that's just like, well, yeah,
a
so
stranglehold
preseason.
team. A stranglehold
Ohio's-
team right out of the
Ohio
gates.
State, as we're going through these things, we're talking about they got like 10 people in the top
To watch
25,
list.
but maybe going in the top 20 or in the top 32 next year. I
Yeah.
mean, they got a ton of dudes that are projected to go in the
get to
first
that.
round.
Well, all we know
We'll
is
get
that
started.
Bill Belichick's
Yes.
going to draft somebody out of like North Dakota, Weber State.
so
I
where
mean,
we at? All right,
let's move it
Wisconsin.
on
Yes.
to 20 at Wisconsin. Got bringing in Luke Fickle from Cincinnati.
I like that move. I just wish Luke would have went somewhere else.
That doesn't seem like a good fit.
I think it's a perfect
Schematically,
fit.
right? You think so?
Yeah.
From Cincy?
Yeah, he can do what he wants. Like, he can kind of run the ball like he did in Cincy. He can start bringing some type of throwing offense to them.
Yeah, and talking about throwing offense,
How did-
they get transferred quarterback Tanner
Yeah.
Mordecai.
Speaking of Cincinnati, dude, how the fuck did nobody know about Sauce Gardner? How the fuck?
Well,
dude?
he was drafted pretty high, so I think they.
Well,
knew.
no, I know, but
Yeah.
how did like?
Oh,
you know,
you're talking
that's-
about high school?
Yeah, when
But
they got
it
into
happens
college.
but it happens everywhere.
I guess in a lot,
happens
but like
everywhere.
It's because they're so
so
young.
nasty, dude.
People mature at different ages.
So
you
nasty.
get-
And Kobe Bryant, shout out. Let's go Seahawks.
All right. You got any more for Wisconsin? Or we go
Oh, for
no,
Wisconsin, I got off
Wisconsin's
on a
what-
tangent now.
Wisconsin's what Wisconsin is. They're gonna
They're gonna run the ball down your throat. They're gonna
Yeah.
play Big Ten ball. They're gonna have a
Big
decent to okay defense. Like sometimes their defense over excels, but
That's
more
what I
often
hope.
than
Like,
not.
that's what I like about the Luke Fickle is I hope they can still do the run.
Okay.
Because
Well,
think
they're
about
gonna.
how many
That's yeah.
quarterbacks they've had that you've been like, oh, that's a 4-year starter. They can't really fucking play quarterback. Like, dude, they got a lot of dudes up there that don't
It's kind
really
of true.
play
No, I don't
quarterback.
disagree. Their quarterback situation's never been.
Give
A1.
those some of those fucking running backs a goddamn quarterback, and those teams
animals.
would have
They've
been fucking
had some
legit.
good ass running backs.
Well, yeah,
Let's
maybe
go.
Fickle can bring in or develop
Yes.
somebody so that
Okay.
could look like a different program.
Sure.
And it would
They-
really help with that, with what's going on.
Because
in
you're
the
gonna get
Big
left.
Ten.
You're gonna
Yes.
get left behind for sure.
100%.
For sure.
All right, so down to 19, A&M. I mean,
Dude, such an overrated fucking school,
Wait,
right? Like
What's A&M?
Texas.
Texas.
What? I mean, I get the
Yeah.
question, but what other A&M or would you ever
I don't know.
refer
There
to?
always could be somebody that sneaks in.
I mean, yeah, it's true, but we're going Texas here. We got Bobby Petrino calling the offense this year.
Do
I
we
like-
really?
Yes,
Yes.
I like
Oh
the
my
move.
God. You
at
like
first-
that move?
at first- I love it.
Oh my god.
I don't like him as a person, but as an offensive play caller, dude, the dude's legit. Look what he did at those Louisville teams. Look what he did in Arkansas with shout out to what's his name that just
Darren
passed
McFadden?
away.
No,
No,
from
the
Arkansas.
quarterback throwing the ball deep. He just passed away. He played under Bobby Petrino in Arkansas.
Mullins.
No,
No, not Mullins.
big kid. Played at Michigan. Played 1 year. Ran real hard. Threw the ball like a mile. Huge arm.
Yeah, no, I know
Michigan?
exactly who you're talking about.
I don't.
We gave him a shout a couple weeks ago.
No, it would fuck me, dude. I don't know.
Fucking-
We're gonna let it come to us.
Ryan
You guys-
Mallett.
There you go.
Ryan Mallett played for it.
Mallett's
Remember those teams that he played on? Those were Bobby
He
Petrino
did play at
teams.
Arkansas. He didn't play at Michigan. He played for
He,
Michigan. He
yeah,
played
he
Michigan.
1 year at Michigan.
He played 1 year at Michigan.
Bet you shots. You gonna take the shot?
No, I need no shots.
All right, so I do think that Texas A&M is supposed to be always good. This is the year is what's his name on the hot seat this year?
He fucking should be Jimbo.
Yes.
God damn, dude, he hasn't done anything for that program. They gave him like $100 million and he's done diddly squat, dude.
It seems like he's been coasting on that contract, but that contract is why he's still there too.
Correct.
It would be too much to cut.
No, yeah, exactly. You're
cut
gonna
in.
have to double. You're gonna double dip.
If
You
he
gotta
doesn't
pay
have a
more
winning-
money to bring another
If
person.
he doesn't have a winning team this year, it's Texas A&M. You got to dump trash and go from there.
I think
So
so.
you're starting to get overlapped. Texas and OU are heading your
You've
way.
been lapped for years in your own
Well, you're
state.
supposed to be always having the number one recruiting class.
They have a lot of turnover though. I also looked up and they lost 3 5-stars and 18 4-stars.
So why did that happen?
Well,
For that.
because of how the team performed, but they also brought in another 3 5-stars, another 12 4-stars. So it's a lot of moving.
Right. No.
It's a lot of turnover
Sure,
that program.
I think Texas A&M is what it is. They're not going to get up. They're going to be right where they are. Those low
3
teams.
loss, 4 loss team.
Yep.
So next team would be Florida at 18.
Florida's got a couple games. They start off at Utah.
I'm so.
That's a big game. SEC
I'm so off of
Pac-12.
Florida though. I'm so off
But
of Florida.
that
They-
game is big though.
I
Chuck.
don't disagree, but what I'm saying though is like that team has not been good. Like they've snuck in and out of the bottom end of the top 25 for a little bit, and they've
that's where they're
never
gonna
been
stay.
able. They've never been able to get past like 18. I don't think, which is where they're at, right? Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's a very generous start to the season, Florida. Like I don't expect them to really supersede that.
I don't either. I think they're that same boat. 2-3 loss. Their rankings depend on who they lost to and who they beat.
Dude, that SEC, they're gonna crumble. They're gonna get fucking stomped.
I think
They're
Utah
between the
beats
East
them.
and not
I
the
think
West.
Cam Rising and Utah beats them.
Okay,
every
so
point.
then there's a massive out of conference loss too.
And we know they're going to finish with Florida State. That's another big game.
Probably a
Oh
loss there
shit!
too.
So okay, so yeah, wow. Okay, so then Florida
Florida
not
State's
backing
gonna be
down.
good, I think.
I
too.
respect the schedule then for Florida if you
Yeah,
got all
no,
that
it's
going
a-
on. That's
it's a
monster.
bit
That's
more
why you
legit
start
than some of the
preseason so
others.
high. Okay.
Washington has an edge. Sorry, we missed it earlier. They could go in the top 15 as well, Chuck.
No, I did not know that.
Braylon Trice. Sorry, I missed
Okay.
that earlier. Braylon Trice out of Washington.
Let's
So
go.
Washington, there's 2 top.
So you're
15
talking
players.
quarterback, receiver, and edge that are all prospects.
And
going
yeah,
in.
yeah, the
That's
wide
nice.
receiver
That's nice.
the quarterback can slip. That's huge. Quarterback
100%. They can easily do
Washington
themselves massive favors.
could almost, depending on how they play, could sneak a wide receiver and a quarterback in the top 10 if the wide receiver
If
shuts
that
out.
connection's nasty as fuck,
Correct.
for sure. Could work.
Sorry, we missed that
Yeah.
earlier. Sorry, I missed
No,
that, Trev.
it's good bringing it back, but it's not short the Gators. They also have Graham Mertz coming in from Wisconsin to play quarterback.
I was gonna say, who are they gonna place Richardson with? That's how they did it.
That's how they did it, but
Okay.
they did lose like 24 players to the portal. So
24.
we'll see how it looks. I don't think they're gonna sit in the top.
They have a
25.
they have a corner that's towards the end in this thing I'm looking at here. Jason Marshall Jr. They have a corner that's looking at. So
The goddamn portal.
the portal, it's something we.
I
touched
feel
on
like there
multiple
needs to
times.
just be like there has to be just some sort of
When we get
restriction.
to Ole
It's
Miss, when we get to Ole
fucking
Miss
crazy.
here in a little bit, we can talk because their coach made some talk. So
Almost there, but before we
TCU
get
at
there,
17.
TCU 17.
TCU, I think, is ranked too high.
They lost a lot.
Yes, I think they're ranked too high. They have a big game at the beginning of the year to just kind of see, where you're kind of at. Like they have Colorado early. It's good. It's kind of a opening Colorado. They got the Dion hype. TCU's coming off the loss, but it's coming off the really good year.
Yeah,
So
they got
it's-
now
so
wall up too.
This is a
God
big game. Are you
damn.
going to come into Dion's first game and lose? It's going to be. This game is going to be watched heavily because of Dion. So this is a big game for you. It's still
Also, to add on that, I mean, TCU lost a lot, but from that success, they were able to add some key transfers. I got wide receiver JoJo early, and running back we got Trey Sanders, and tackle Tommy Brockenheimer. So
the coach is good.
the
coach is
success
really good.
helped them bring some.
There's a
players.
good
They got
culture down there
coach.
too.
But
TC
they-
is a
always
pretty
has-
successful program.
Well,
Yeah.
it's a Christian school, but agriculture.
That
Fuck,
doesn't
I mean-
necessarily mean anything.
Well, it would be
let's
hella
let's
weird
not
if it
let's
didn't.
not put
I
our
mean,
eggs in
come
that
on.
basket.
But
that would be.
I think it's a big game to start with Colorado because
yeah.
there's so much hype in front of you.
No, there's so much hype in front of Colorado.
That you're going into the game with
that
them
is the
on.
most greased up fucking engine right now in college football. Will be Colorado, whether they succeed or not. Will Dion be able to take all of these recruits? They had a crazy turnover too, right? They had a jettison of like several fucking
Yeah, that was Dion doing his
athletes.
thing though.
Yeah, and I think for Colorado, you can't expect instant success, but I like Dion. I think that, Colorado needed a lot of change, and he's
I
gonna.
think Colorado depends on whether your offense and defensive coordinators can do what they do.
True, yeah, he's gotta help bring in some people, but we'll see. I mean, he had great success at the past.
They're
stop.
not ranked, right? We're not going to touch on
No,
that.
we're not talking
yeah.
about Colorado.
Oh, Dion.
So this is it for Dion.
This-
He also is out. He had 2 blood clots.
Surgeries, yeah.
he's had
No, I
surgery
mean,
off.
on that tip, dude, get better, bro. I'm not trying to shit on that. Like that's fight the good fight.
But now let's move it on to Ole Miss.
Dude.
16. All right.
Spencer, fucking Sanders transfer from Oklahoma State. Does he start? I mean, dude,
So-
they got some shit going on there.
Yeah, this is a quarterback battle. You got returner Jackson Dart. You got Spencer.
Yeah, that's right.
Sanders.
Jackson Dart's a returner. That's who it was.
They also brought in Walker Howard from LSU.
Why, if you're Spencer Sanders, transfer from Oklahoma State to Ole Miss, are you like? Do you think you can beat Jackson Dart? Because I don't think it's the other kid. I think it's a Jackson Dart that you're trying to beat.
I would agree, just because I believe Sanders it's his last year of eligibility.
Yes, because he's had 4 starting years at Oklahoma State, at least 4.
So you think he's got to be the favorite?
Right, and
Absolutely,
I just,
yeah.
and with OU, it was always like, is Spencer gonna make the problem play, or is Spencer gonna make because they're so running back talent would be good, but the backup would be great. No depth really at Oklahoma State, but man, Spencer Sanders, that's a weird transfer to me.
Well, talking about running backs, just to touch on their return, Quinshawn
Number one back,
Jenkins. Yeah,
number one back. He came out like we said earlier today. And had a problem. He's even talked about the running back market as he comes out of college. So number one back, talking already about how
If
the
you're
running back
Bijan Robinson, man, you're like, fuck, dude, I just got drafted 8th overall, which means I'm gonna get an okay contract to
Yeah.
sign into. But now if I ball, I'm gonna get franchised.
right? It's gonna be tough, dude.
They're automatically going to look at. They're not going to extend running backs. Period. You'll be lucky if you get 5th-year option picked up.
It's gonna be crazy. And then also with Ole Miss, you had Kiffin come out this week and talk about the playing for pay and stuff. And I told, and he's right.
Pish posh.
He's right. It's pay for play.
Yeah, that's what the transfer portal turned it into.
Right, but it's not technically supposed to. But even Kiffin came out.
Who
and
the
said
fuck
it.
cares, dude? It's capitalism. It's
No, I know. I
the
don't.
contracts. We can't back down now.
I think we do need to figure out some.
We
type
are
of
way too deep, you guys. No, there is no going back.
No, not going back. I think there needs to be
guidelines added.
Oh yeah, no, we are fighting the wild west right now. There's no true
We need to have
guideline or governing
we need to have,
body.
salary
no.
caps. We need to have position.
There
cap.
needs to be
there
a
we go.
lot.
NCAA,
Yeah.
where you at?
Nowhere, because you don't have a fucking president. It's
And you
like,
can't make a goddamn video game to save
No.
your life. Like, what? I mean, what
All
are you
right,
doing?
next season,
all right,
next
all right.
season.
So Ole Miss. Ole Miss is an interesting team. They got lots of dudes and a lot of fucking people that can either go far or can fall. Same with the team. If they win a couple of these tough games, they got. I mean, they're going to end up with the Tennessees and the Georgia.
Yeah,
you got a tough hill to slide.
But the SEC is
Their
no
only
joke, dude.
big games though are in the SEC. Their best out of conference is Georgia Tech.
Which is
Other than
not
that,
Not a
Real
currently
soft,
relevant
real
program.
soft,
Like, it's
right.
unfortunate for G Tech. They're not what they once were. Megatron.
This next fucking team is
All right,
my
here we.
fucking
Yeah,
ass.
I hear you. Utah, 15, man, and returning quarterback
Okay.
Cameron Rising.
Okay.
Isn't he like 40?
Okay, hold on.
How old is Cameron
If
Rising?
Cameron
He's
Rising got drafted by the Raiders, I'd be like, yes, he's gonna beat somebody because he always wins. That
Dude.
motherfucker wins all the time.
He
Dude,
won't
beats
believe-
SC all the time.
He's not getting
I
drafted.
Drew Cameron Rising. I hate you
Maybe.
right now.
maybe 5th or 6th round.
No, I think he's like 3rd. Dude, he's always a stick in my fucking. He's a thorn in my foot. Dude, Cameron Rising always beating SC.
I kind of see him as like that Naruto character that just like he's just that kid, that guy that just has that edge to him.
Dude, every
he's gonna
fucking
keep
time.
you in it, even though he doesn't maybe not be as talented as some of the other quarterbacks. He's just got that grit.
Yeah,
Dude.
that's what they said about Baker Mayfield when they
No,
took him
Baker
first
was too
overall.
cocky. Cameron nowhere near as cocky.
Yeah, it's different. It's a different
Cameron's
ego.
fucking yeah. Dude, I'll tell you what. Utah is going to give the Pac-12 a really good run at every team in that division. I really hope they give Florida get an ass kicking, and they come in and smoke all the other teams, and then lose to USC.
What are
Smoking
you
the
talking about?
Washington.
UW. UW's gonna win the Pac-12. What,
No, I
what
want
are we
Utah
talking
smoking
about here?
everybody but SC. SC
What are
smokes
we
everybody.
talking about?
We'll get to that later.
That is the
Okay.
most ridiculous thing I've ever
It's
heard
not. That's a really good thing.
in
Like,
my
Utah
life.
smoking the rest of them.
in my
Because then
life.
Utah looks good
Oh
with
my
the Florida
God,
win,
dude.
and
Oh
then
my
SC comes in
God.
and beats them.
No,
With the Florida
UW's
win.
going 14-0, baby.
UW loses
Fucking
with
A.
them and Washington State.
Yeah, we are not losing the Apple Cup. Not this year, not never.
So Utah has some games though out
Dude,
of
they
conference. Florida and Baylor.
Big time. Big time synergy
I
right
love
there,
it.
dude.
I love
That's
it,
what I'm
dude.
saying. I appreciate it when teams are willing to take on those extra battles. It says a lot more. Even if you go in there, it sucks losing. Putting that L up on the
But it
board.
fucking looks a lot better when
It
you're
does.
9
If you
and
go,
2
if you,
with a
if
loss to
you,
fucking
if you
to
travel to
somebody good.
LSU and lose by 3, people are gonna respect that a lot more than beating Bowling Green.
If you're
on
gonna give me
Wednesday.
a 9 and 2 with a loss to somebody good, whether you're 10 and 1 and you played fucking Doofus State and fucking Candyland at fucking Senior Bowl.
Doofus State
Like-
at Candyland in the Senior Bowl.
Well, just 2 teams that outnumber. Like
it was
you,
Mr. Mustard and the
You get Alabama gets Mercer State, and then South Alabama State. You
right.
shouldn't be able
No,
to
I
do
know.
that.
Yeah, you shouldn't get the fucking
So losing to that other big conference team is definitely more of applause in my factor.
quality loss. Yeah.
Yes, good job. That does work there. Thank you.
All right, let's move it on to FSU. I got a lot on FSU.
Florida State just seems
I
to
think
have
they
some
finished
juice
top
this
10
year, right?
and maybe can push for a Final Four seed.
Dude, on paper, I think they're the best in the AACC. They got a lot coming in. They returned their quarterback Jordan Travis,
Yes.
wide receiver Johnny Wilson, edge Jared Verse.
Top 5 pick Jared Verse.
Rumor is Dalvin Cook's coming back for his 6th year of eligibility because he can't get signed to an NFL team, so he might as well come back to
That's
college.
false, Trev.
FSU
That's
also
not gonna
Or
hurt.
Chuck.
FSU also added the top corner from the portal in
Okay.
Deuce Cypress.
Yep.
Deuce Cypress, that's a hell of a name
It
right
is.
there.
I think Florida State has one of the biggest games starting out the season. LSU. That is a huge game on both.
Yeah,
On both scales.
100%.
Last year we watched that game, I think, here, and it was kind of like this weird game, like, oh, whatever.
I do remember
And they
Florida State
both-
having a big. It was against Oklahoma, wasn't it?
They
wasn't
had-
that the big?
Well,
big
no, they had
opener?
LSU, and they won on that field goal, and LSU started out 0-1 in Brian Kelly's career. People were freaking out. Brian Kelly's a hell of a coach, for one.
And not related to Chip Kelly, by the way.
Yeah, Chuck called that off like a son of a bitch last week.
Some bitch.
But I also think that Florida State is, Trev's right. Clemson's quarterback might be a dude, but if he's not,
He's just a guy.
Florida State maybe winning the ACC might get them in if they cannot lose. If they beat LSU,
They can only drop one at best.
If they beat LSU at the beginning of the season,
Sure.
you could see Florida State top
And they have
4.
to have a quality loss. Otherwise, they gotta run the table.
No, they have to beat every. They gotta win out.
That's
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
I do like them against Florida at the end of the year. We'll see
Me
what
too.
it looks like.
Yeah, no, I would say
When we get
Florida.
there.
I would say
A lot of this is injury dependent too. You lose a quarterback, you lose a dude.
yeah.
Just
Football in general.
2 other notable players that they brought in was wide receiver Kenyon Coleman and tight end Jaheim Bell too. So I mean they brought in
Buffed
some-
up.
It'd be cool to see.
Yeah.
it.
Free agency
Yeah.
happens every year
Yeah.
in college now.
College football's better when
So
Florida State's
crazy.
good, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, when all of the blue bloods. Yeah, no, it's the pageantry of college football has only suffered because the blue bloods have fallen off, and we've tried to figure out parity, and it hasn't worked.
Yeah, and I think it's even more important now with Divisions falling apart.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Absolutely. It's
Keep
the
a strong
only thing that
Florida
could
State.
potentially restore any respect to.
A strong Florida State and a strong Clemson at least puts a little bit in the ACC if Miami can ever figure out. how
Miami
to
needs
bring
to
that
show
about.
out. Miami needs to figure their shit.
And I think I can't.
right.
Miami's not on this list, but they have a lot of big games that would put them on this list at the beginning of the year. They do have an accrued out of conference schedule.
And they got that coach from Oregon too, so I mean, I'm hoping. I mean, it would be nice to have
Miami gets
back.
Texas A&M September 9th, so
It's all about the.
that puts Texas
For
A&M.
sure, the best 30 for 30 of all time is
definitely.
Miami.
It's
good.
It's so great.
Who do you got next, Trev?
All right, next we move on to Oregon with Bo Nix.
I think he's so overrated.
Right, but it's because it's the scheme, it's the school.
He's such a good
it's-
college quarterback, but
Exactly.
he's not the NFL dude.
Agreed.
I think Oregon is super dangerous this year. I think he brings them like that senior leadership, and you saw it last year. I think
Losing to Washington at home.
well, I think that this year they're getting better talent wise. I think Oregon's gonna be good. I think they maybe lose some of the obviously the SC, but I think they maybe lose to Washington, maybe lose to Utah, but also could beat all those teams. Even
Nobody's
beating
beating SC, boy. Nobody's beating SC. Put it in stone. Go ahead.
Out of conference,
Nobody's beating them.
they play Texas Tech, so another top 25.
Right, we
team.
talked about that. We touched on
That's
that.
what we
And,
touched on
and
that.
yeah.
but that's still just big.
UW, Oregon State, the Pac-12
Pac-12 in general.
has a chance to cannibalize itself as per usual. That's the scary thing.
Two other notable additions would be the edge Jordan Birch and tackle Ajin Cornelius.
I like Cornelius, but
I mean, Oregon's going to be good.
Oregon's always good. They got a good coaching
Oregon's
staff
not going to
there.
be good. The Ducks are going to flounder and they're going to drown in their own little
You
pond.
think they'll have a losing record?
No.
Is that
But-
because is that just because of Washington?
That's my
Somebody
chief
got-
rival. I will never wish Oregon well.
Well, I don't think you gotta wish them well. You have to like be
They're
able
bad.
to
They
pick
suck.
them.
I hope that they're. I hope that Bo Nix is.
Hope all the bad
boo-boo.
things happen to
Boo-boo.
you.
Yeah, and only you.
That's
Maybe a
not
little bit to Washington State. We can sprinkle that on Pullman too.
good. That's not good.
You got any more for Oregon?
No, Oregon's gonna be a tough
Yeah,
team.
let's stop talking about Oregon. Let's go to better teams.
All right.
Which are?
Number 12, Tennessee. So we got a little
Really?
bit of a
Okay.
quarterback.
I was
battle
gonna
here.
say because
I'm a
after
little-
Hendon Hooker
I'm
he
a little
leaves,
surprised.
that they're this high.
Yeah,
I am.
especially over Utah and a Florida State.
More of a proven roster because they lost a lot to the draft, dude. They really did.
And
In
dude,
key positions.
quarterback in college football, you see dudes transfer to places and turn team into $1 million.
You kind of got to feel not. You got to feel pretty good, I think, at quarterback for Tennessee. Though you got your returner Joel Moton, and then you got a 5-star in Nico. I don't even know how to pronounce that last name.
We ain't even trying, boys. Nico.
I like the coaching staff. I do. I think that
I got it. No.
Heupel is
Lamaleva?
Heupel's going to be great at Tennessee. I love the coaching staff. I think Tennessee takes a step back. I think Hendon Hooker, Hyatt, all those dudes just fucking.
That's a
replace
big
all those
drop off,
dudes.
dude. Yeah.
I think you're set. And the other kid that got taken, or the other receiver Wilson that got taken, I think that you're.
But it's pretty impressive to the fact that like they're still sitting right there at 12. That's
Yeah.
striking distance.
Well, I think
That's
these
all you
next
can
two
hope
teams
for.
are very overrated.
I think at 12 though they're projected to be the second best team in the SEC East.
Probably, but I still think that even that and the next team are overrated. Even though I thought the coach was going to be awesome, and I'm disappointed.
Yes, I was kind of surprised to see OU at 11.
I was too. I think Venables is a good coach, but last year, man, they sucked.
They were not good.
And they started winning towards the end. So is that like you getting your
But
players?
11? But 11?
Right, but is that you getting your players and now you kind of got your team? But still, 11 is way high. I
Yeah.
think over the FSU's and the Utahs, even over the Ole Miss. Like,
So
I
they-
don't like that OU at all. They're one of my highest. Like, they're the highest team on this that I think is
Yeah,
gonna fall
it's a
deep
very
farthest.
high projection for their performance last season. They do return quarterback Dylan Gabriel. They add Trace Ford and Deshaun McGolf at edge. So they did bring in a couple players.
And Venables is supposed to be. I mean, he was so awesome defensively for Clemson, but college football is not about. College football is about offense when you're gonna be like spotlighting it. So if you're not gonna put up the points, you're going to slowly fall down the ranks.
Yes, I mean, big expectations for Gabriel for returning. So, I mean, that's the only thing that I could see that has
11,
I'm super surprised that they're that high.
Agreed.
The toughest out of conference is Cincinnati. I don't know. Big games would be Texas, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
You mean just like what's your Texas? If Texas Tech's
Red
good, if Kansas State gets rolling at that point in time,
A lot of
that's
it's
it's all your.
That's the only way the Big 12 lives is like kind of in like the mushy middle to mediocrity where like they never have guys pushing for 1, 2, 3, or 4. They just have a bunch of motherfuckers around 17, 19, 22.
Correct. 100%. You got all of them that are just sitting.
Yeah, they're just chilling right there where they're like we're good, but they're not great, right?
Yes.
Like, it's the Big 12.
All right, so let's move it on to 10. Get into that top 10.
Okay, whoop whoop.
Penn State. All right.
Penn State.
They lost quite a bit.
They did.
They got 2 dudes coming back. They're fucking huge components of their team.
Okay, which
Offensive tackle,
Big time.
Big time. He's projected top 5. He's probably the only person that like puts Drake May out of the top 3. If you get that team that has the quarterback that can get that tackle. OF, I'm gonna call him, but he's got crazy.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna do his last name.
Fashanu?
Fashanu. Yeah, Fashanu.
And then they have
Fashanu.
They have an edge that's projected to be high too.
If you can phonetically pronounce that name, man, that's impressive.
They also have a
should practice
5-star quarterback, Drew Aller.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see what he's
How
about.
many 5-star QBs we got going on over here, man?
Hey, man, it
I
differs
feel like
from year to
there's-
year.
Chop Robinson edge is projecting the top 20 as well. So if you've already got both lines covered, we'll see who the running back or see what their quarterback does.
Well, then
James Franklin's also could coach too.
He is. Sounds like there's a recipe for success right there in Penn State.
Well, yeah, I think that's what got him up to 10 at
Sure.
least.
And they have a cornerback, Kalen King. So, dude, you're kind of looking. Yeah, you're kind of all on top 3 levels, dude.
There you go. Number 9.
Notre Dame.
Oh, dude, such an overrated team every fucking year.
I don't know.
Every year.
All right, let's start out with
Every year.
they lost their quarterback, Tyler Bunchner, and they lost their OC, Tommy Rees, both to Bama.
Correct.
Ouch.
But
They did add
the quarterback that
Sam
I think
Hartman.
is on the most up is maybe pulls the Joe Burrow climbing from one round to another, multiple rounds. Sam Hartman,
Burrow came
not
out
first
of
round.
nowhere, too.
I'm not saying over Caleb, or over Drake.
Or
but
Penix.
I see Sam coming pretty high. Dude, I really like him coming out of Wake. His completion percentage in 2021 was 71%. Dude is fucking accurate. It'd be nice to see, I know you're playing the Clemsons. You're not playing Wake he's getting Wake the wins that they got those years. So it'd be nice to see him at Notre Dame, who's got to play the Ohio State, who's got to play
They
SC.
should have been in the Big Ten, right? They should just be in the Big Ten. Notre Dame should be in the Big
Well,
Ten.
they already have that.
They basically are. They
Should.
basically have a contract. with
Well,
them.
they played
It
the
would make
ACC
sense.
more.
But yeah, but they already got a contract with the
It's
ACC.
the ACC.
I am excited to watch Sam though because I believe he was in one of the Netflix quarterback competition shows with Radler and who else? I think it was a year after Fromm, but he seemed like I'm interested. I want to see what he's got.
I'm excited, really excited for Sam. I really want to see what he's got. I really am. I hope that him and I don't really say this much. I hope that him and Notre Dame light it up. I really want to see what this kid's got.
No,
I'm
you
really
can't say
from
that as an
USC
SC fan. Yeah.
but I'm rooting for him. Like I'm really rooting for him.
Just him, not the team.
Yeah.
He
well,
looks
they can
good.
lose SC.
Team can lose.
No,
They can lose SC and be undefeated, go into SC.
All right.
Makes
Also,
us look better.
I got to give a shout out. I mean, I know Notre Dame isn't really technically part of a conference. They
Right.
do play in the SEC or the ACC with that contract, but their out of conference is the best.
Yes.
It's the best.
It's
they,
the best.
They play Ohio State. They play
Big time.
USC. They
Big
play
time.
Stanford.
Wow.
Stanford, I think, is on the downhill, but
Sure,
the
but
other
still,
ones
it's
are
still a
amazing.
program.
It's
still
the best
still a
from
legit
the out of
program.
conference.
Correct.
In
Dude,
the top 25.
Ohio State and SC in the same year out of conference where they're both ranked in the top 7.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's fucking crazy.
All right, we got any more for Notre Dame?
No, I'm
We're
excited to see
moving
Sam.
on.
All right,
The Irish.
number 8, Clemson.
I think is with the number
Because the
8.
homeboy transferred out.
But
and-
the kid that ended up playing the last so many games that got him those wins, because remember how bad they sucked?
Right, no,
The
yeah.
kid that came in is legit. So
Cade
now it's about
Cunningham.
yes. So now it's about, can he keep it going, and is Clemson still getting all the recruits to take the SEC, or is it Florida State's time? It's kind of those two teams, and those two teams only personally.
Yeah,
Miami's not even in this, and I thought Miami might.
not even in the
NC
top 25.
is only in top 25 because of Drake May. No Virginia Tech. Pitt's
Oh, the
obviously
ACC's
not,
weak, dude.
obviously not
well,
in there.
They haven't
And
for a
so
while.
they
it's-
were
it-
down.
it's-
recently. After
Nova
Clemson
Tech
fall,
is
especially.
surprising, though.
But it's kind of bad looking at it now. I'm surprised. Clemson's kind of up there with these other teams. I'm kind of surprised they're this high.
So they also bring in OC Garrett Riley.
Right.
So we'll see how that goes. I think it could be a bounce back year for Clemson, but I still have them out of the playoff.
I have Florida State winning. I think Florida State gets them.
We'll get to the playoff later.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go to number 7.
Super low ranking, motherfuckers.
Disrespect.
Disrespect.
It's
At the
just
highest
because
level.
it's just because it's unproven. You
Yeah.
have all of everything that you need to
Lincoln Riley, one of the
make
top
a charge.
So,
3
yeah.
coaches in the college football.
USC.
Number 1 quarterback. in
Caleb
football.
Williams, baby. Come on. The need was defense. We talked about it. The defense was bad last season. They added to it a lot in the portal this year.
They did.
So how quickly it could come together will make a big impact on how well SC can play. But I think that offense is going to give every defense a run for their money.
Anytime Lincoln Riley's calling plays, we've seen it. He's going to dominate, and he's got the dude throwing the ball around the yard.
They do.
Watching that dude play quarterback in all those games when we went to like dinners and stuff, he throws the ball at every angle. He throws it from wherever he's running from. He is amazing. I can't wait to
Impressive.
see like what happens this year, and I can't wait to see his transformation into the NFL.
Yeah, it should be great.
Fuck, dude. Lincoln Riley has.
Dude, he's amazing.
He has
college coach.
moved heaven and earth to put together a squad for USC that the only reason why they are number 7 is because it's so much. It's talent. They know that there's transfers and that there's 5 and 4 stars all over that fucking. But it's generally unproven under that umbrella.
Because it's like you want to play for him as an offensive skill position. You're like a receiver. You're like, dude, I'll go play for him. I'm gonna get.
Yeah,
some
he's
fucking-
one of those guys. If he shows up into your living room, you're committing to Lincoln Riley.
And
pretty
yet,
much.
USC is already a program that's going to get you drafted.
Yeah,
too.
absolutely.
You're gonna
Oh
get that
no, they're
attention.
pro recognition for sure. Since the '70s, like or
Big time.
probably even early. Yeah, the SC's a blue blood. The SC. I hate to say
They
this.
bring the West Coast
College football is better when SC is
because
on
they
top of the game.
because they bring the West
They
Coast.
do big time. They represent the West in an outstanding fashion,
Correct.
except for
Because if you hate them, you watch them, but if you like them, you watch them too. It like brings that whole West Coast in.
I'm talking about West Coast too. I expect Lincoln Riley to get Snoop Dogg and Will Ferrell. We're gonna have the celebrities on the sidelines again, like it was in Pete Carroll.
Hell yeah.
Isn't it?
Hell
We're
yeah.
gonna
BD.
get it going.
Dude, let's go Seahawks.
All right, so
This team I also think is gonna finish higher as well.
let's go
Michigan?
to Michigan at number
Michigan,
6.
Big Blue, man.
I think they finished.
they
I
got
think
a lot of
Ohio
expectations.
State's got tons of guys coming out in the draft. J.J. McCarthy is leading the Michigan Wolverines.
Along with Blake Corum.
The
To
whole
what?
deal.
To what?
The national title game, maybe definitely in the 4. They're one of the 4, dude.
Okay.
I think I like
One of
Michigan
the
this
4.
year.
All right.
Ohio State's got a ton of dudes, but Trev's right. J.J. McCarthy, maybe a first-round pick, maybe can sneak in. He might have that same Penix type year where he can make a name for himself. The running back obviously is one of the best backs in the game, but he's not a first-round pick. He's probably a third-round pick
You don't think
because
he gets in the light first? Dude,
because
there
of
was
the
so
yards.
much hype the way he
he's
was playing.
got too many miles, I think, and he's not dynamic enough.
Too many miles.
Just another note too from Michigan, they brought in transfer Josiah Stewart, edge. I believe I forget what college he was coming from, but he had I think 12 and a half sacks from last.
It's a nice year.
Yeah, it's from
very
like
nice
one of
year.
those coastal schools.
Chris
Okay.
Jenkins, defensive tackle, top 25 as well. Probably going out in the first round.
Nice.
Yep.
So yeah, we'll see.
Moving on up.
They are definitely. I mean, it's gonna again come down to them and Ohio State for the Big Ten. For
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, Michigan's going to have all the games. It's
That's
Wisconsin,
written in
Penn
stone.
State, everybody else. But the Ohio State game is the game that's probably deciding a lot of shit.
That's the preseason #1 most anticipated game is
Well, because
Ohio
it
State
can literally
Michigan.
decide who makes the 4
Sure.
and who wins the Pac or the Big Ten every
Yeah,
year.
no,
And it's that classic matchup.
it's the rivalry. It's
such
what
a
everybody-
hatred.
It's
Love it.
It's why they need to restore that in college football. It matters so much more than they think it does.
To us, the fans, it does. To the
It
fucking
does.
money payers, it doesn't.
Well, that's why regulation might be the way to go, but we'll touch on that in another pod.
Maybe a little bit. This guy. I'm gonna put together a 32 team
It got
division.
big. But I
60. Tell him, Downey. What did it get to last time?
I
What was
had
your
a
last-
40, 50, and a 60.
40, 50, and a 60.
We could do
We
40.
can't leave them out.
It
What
was
about
not-
we
it
can't
got
leave
weird.
them out?
Well, hey, we'll do it on another pod. That got
We're gonna
weird.
do it on another pod. He did like 9 versions, you guys. He's a
What?
slave to the pod.
I work hard on it.
Work hard.
Let's move it along to Texas.
Number 5.
Overrated.
Dude, they have a lot.
I mean,
of
they gave
stars.
Alabama all they could handle last
Yeah,
season.
they sure did.
I
You
know.
got Quentin Ewers returning. You got Arch Manning in case he goes down.
And there's another beast that they have in that quarterback locker room that I forget his fucking name, but he's a big old boy that's like.
Well, they return most of the O-line, if not all. They got the top 3 receivers
Yeah.
coming back as well. That offense should be
Humming.
good.
Hopefully.
Humming.
It should be good.
Texas again. We said USC. Texas is good at football too. College football.
It is. No, they're a blue blood. They did that Longhorn logo is iconic, dude. Like that resonates
That burnt
with
orange.
casual.
That
It is.
burnt orange.
It's that burnt orange and white. That is an
It's a
iconic
sick-
football.
it's a sick helmet.
It is.
They
It's clean.
play
It's
Bama
clean.
again. So that's another
Dude, that's a
game.
huge
Good,
Bama
hell
game,
yeah!
dude.
Shout out.
One of the big ones.
Dude,
Yeah,
that has to be. That's
whoever-
5v3.
That win's a bigger win for Texas than for Bama. But fuck, that's a big loss for Bama compared to a loss for Texas. You know.
Bama also lost wide receiver Aaron Anderson to Texas. So they got
Oh,
him
wow.
coming in too.
Okay. There
Trade
you go.
secrets.
Little rivalryness going on.
So yeah, I mean, I'm kind of hoping Texas is back too
I do
because
too.
they're one of those blue boys
I
they
just
want
don't
to see.
I don't want to see them.
I
I'm
mean,
just saying it's one of
it's
those
better with them.
machines that when they're going
They're
well,
a great villain.
yeah, well, yeah, whether you love them or hate
Or
them, it's
a
a
great
good story.
team if
They're
you're
good.
Texas,
fan.
yes. I think they might be good. I just can't believe they're that high. I really could.
It is very high. I thought SC was going to be higher than Texas
I
in
did too.
preseason.
I thought
polls,
you
for
would
sure.
flip flop Texas and SC, and I'd have been like, oh yeah, that's probably pretty close.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because I think the next 4 teams that we're gonna go through.
I think they all do make sense.
All
just,
are pretty
I think
close.
I don't know if I
So-
agree necessarily with the way that they're slotted.
Yes, me
but
too.
The 4 teams do make sense.
All right,
Correct.
now let's get into that top 4.
La
LSU.
Tigres.
LSU, the
Great
Tigers.
coach. The kid coming back, Daniels the quarterback, look the fuck out.
Yeah. Jane Daniels returning. Malik Nabers, the wide receiver that you're talking about, I'm sure. They also got some. They got some other players too. Mason Smith and Harold Perkins. They added cornerback Denver Harris and Zay Alexander.
Dude, people want to come play for Brian Kelly.
Dude, Brian
it's
Kelly.
It's a winner. It's a winner.
I wasn't
That's
sure
LSU.
about that fit, but
I agree.
Kelly's,
I originally.
Kelly's a good coach.
I
Yeah,
knew he
he's
was going to turn around LSU. Dude, he's a stud coming from Cincy, going to Notre Dame. Dude, he's been a winner where he's at, and his teams are always solid through all three fashions. We saw him try to work a defense, but had a really good offense at Cincy. At Notre Dame, we kind of never saw him get that quarterback. He's got that quarterback in Jaden Daniels, which we think he should be. Jaden Daniels might be the perfect Brian Kelly quarterback.
Okay.
I mean, they beat Bama last year. They got FSU at the beginning of the schedule this year.
That FSU game is a big. That FSU game is a really big loss for them and a huge win for Florida State. Like we said earlier, to the Pac-10, Pac-12 game. But if Florida State loses, it's not as bad if LSU loses. Like Florida
no,
State
for sure. 19 losing versus 5 losing or 4 losing.
Man, but I think Florida State might get that game. I can't wait to watch.
Yeah,
these preseason rankings only mean so much because let's be honest, sometimes you get the bang on where like 1, 2, and 3 you fucking know, right?
Oh,
and
yeah, most of it's about
the rest of it's arbitrary
class and who you got returning.
Right, because you're hoping that you're gonna grow on the pieces that you do have returning.
All right, Trev. So what do you got at 3?
So Georgia coming in at 3, number 2 recruiting class.
Chuck, is this your argument here? Is this the one you said that you didn't like?
It's very confusing to me in the fact that like they're the two-time defending national champions. Like, yes, they have lost studs on the defense several times. They lost Stetson Bennett on the offensive side.
I think that might be the
Washington.
bigger part is we don't know the kid coming in.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be I think Carson Beck, but
I think so.
We'll see.
Right, no,
it's a big question mark.
We would see Stetson Bennett got drafted in the 5th round, so it's not like they didn't have Caleb Williams at the fucking quarterback position to begin with.
Well, sure, but he was still kind of, even though he wasn't.
He was ingrained in that program. Great college quarterback. No, yeah. I'm not trying to shit on him. What I'm trying to say though is like he wasn't exactly the biggest.
They ain't throwing out some Manning or
exactly. Luck. So. I don't know. To me, it's just odd that like Ohio State has not proven themselves in the same facet that Georgia has recently. I guess it's year by year. Maybe it's just you shouldn't base off of last year. Maybe it should be
Georgia's got a lot of dudes coming out. I think the only reason Ohio State is because Ohio State's supposed to have like 5 or 6 dudes come out in the first round.
Right.
Like it's going to be one of those Georgia years where the last couple of years we've seen Georgia have all those dudes.
Everybody. Sure.
Ohio State, I think, is that team this year that's going to have like 6, 7 dudes.
So why don't they just call NCAA the G League for?
Well, it should just be like another division onto like a prep NFL thing. Yes.
If the basis is how many pros do you have that makes you a good college team?
I mean, we'll get
because we don't know Ohio, like you said. We don't. Oh yeah, sorry. We don't know the Ohio State quarterback. Let's go to you first. We don't know the Ohio State quarterback either. We don't know the next 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean, just to finish up on Georgia, though, I mean, of course, you got tight end Brock Bowers coming back.
Top pick coming out.
But their out of conference is really weak, too. Georgia Tech's the best team they play.
Awful.
It's set up for them to win the East easily.
Which, having those teams like the Georgia Techs.
Oh no, they play
East, baby.
They play in the East.
Having those teams in state that are not in your conference, like Georgia Tech and Iowa State, gives you that out of conference schedule already. That takes away from another team that you could fit in that might have a record. Like, I have to play Georgia Tech. Well, Georgia Tech kind of fucking sucks all the time. You know, so it doesn't. It already gives you that game out of conference. It's not a good out of conference game, but you got. I have to play them because it's a state rivalry, which you do. But it sucks when it's not a conference game and it's an out of conference, and that's what you're.
I don't mind that. No, honestly, I would rather keep that. If one program is down, then it is what it is. But I like the year in year out schedule.
I do like those. But Georgia Tech isn't down; they're never good.
Yeah, they're not.
They haven't been good for a while. I would say that rivalry has been lopsided for too long where like you can't necessarily call it relevant.
But it'd be cool if Georgia Tech was in like
right. Even if it was like
not an out of conference, because the out of conference you're just muddying your out of conference schedule.
Fair enough.
All right, but this is a team I was kind of surprised to see it too. Is Bama. I mean, they got 2 new quarterbacks, 2 new coordinators, and they don't know who their quarterback is. They got a 3-way battle.
I thought they would have been
3-way.
I thought they would have been 3, and Ohio State would have been 2, and like
Georgia I would have thought that would. 1. I mean, of course, it's Bama. They have plenty of talent on that team.
Oh, it's the coordinators because your offensive dude. You
Oh,
lost.
Brian went to.
He's in the Patriots.
Back to the NFL.
So, dude, you like, and well, Munkin from Georgia also left.
Went to the
Which is
Ravens.
a huge
Should
fucking loss for like Georgia too. Sorry, we missed
Yes.
that for Georgia.
And they're, of course.
But
and
I do
their
agree.
OC
Is
going
it
to Baltimore.
is it just Bama gets 2 in the preseason ranking because it's easy to put Bama at 2?
Yeah, for 100%.
I
Not
mean-
100%, but 85%.
They
I
brought,
love it.
They brought, let's see, Buchner and Tommy Rees for Notre Dame because they couldn't decide if they liked Ty Simpson or Jalen.
Tommy Rees
Milroe.
just
Either. And that's their other two quarterbacks.
He's an all right offense.
and they're highly
we'll
rated
see.
prospects, but neither one of them won the position in the spring.
Yeah,
so-
I not very high on what either of the 3 top big teams are looking at quarterback wise. They're not bringing in those big time freshmen.
No,
that
their
we
better
used to see.
quarterbacks are in the 25 to 15 range, pretty much.
I believe Ty Simpson is a
I mean,
as 5-star recruit. Though.
obviously,
I'm just saying, like, we don't
obviously,
have, like,
7 Caleb Williams is.
There's
supposed
not,
to be
yeah,
the
we don't.
tits,
We're
but,
not. But even Bryce Young, I think, was more highly anticipated than Ty. That's what I'm saying. We don't
Sure,
have like that.
sure.
Bama and Georgia and or Ohio State don't have those dudes. You're like, even Stroud, I feel like, was even more like anticipated over than the kid that's coming in now. I know maybe he's getting overlooked. I know we're jumping ahead one. I just feel that Bama.
Well, one is OSU.
Yeah,
then,
but
right?
let's just get there. OSU, Ohio State is number
they have
one.
they have 7 or 8 dudes they're already projected to go in the first round. Talent's all over the map. It all comes down to Jason Day's coaching with whatever quarterback starts.
Execution.
I mean, of course, we got to touch
And
on the
again-
notables. Like, we got
Notable.
Marvin Harrison Jr.
Okay,
stud.
so literally he probably
He's
doesn't
a
make it out of the top
monster.
3.
He's a
He's
top
probably
receiver of the draft.
Well, he's probably the number 2 pick unless you're taking. Oh, I guess the only way he makes it out of the top 3 is if a tackle
It's
and
position
2 quarterback goes.
It's
Right.
position dependent.
But he's not going past 4. There's not a fucking shot.
and
He's
they're
getting past 4, dude. He's so legit.
so good. But their other receiver isn't bad either. Emeke and
Yeah, and Mbuka,
dude.
right? Yeah, he
But
was
Marvin
a stud
Harrison
last year.
is silky.
Oh, dude, his body control and his foot place. Yeah, no, they're doing something. There's something in the water.
Wide
when it
receiver
comes to,
you there
Yeah,
with
Ohio
Olave,
State has been pumping.
Cedric
taking
And I want to
Wilson.
see JSN come up to the Northwest and
JSN,
fucking
dude.
make some noise. Let's go, baby.
Their running back too, Trayvon Henderson.
Yeah.
returns.
Yeah,
He's
he
another good
was, yeah.
prospect, man.
Yeah, no. So
It-
I get the
it
number
literally-
1 place on Ohio State outside. Once again, the
Dude, it's
quarterback.
literally who's standing behind center on that team.
Well, it's gonna be it's a quarterback battle between Kyle McCord and Devin Brown. Who's it gonna be?
I don't. I mean, it literally is just what's standing behind that. That literally, Ohio State probably doesn't finish out of the top 10 because they're so talented.
Yeah.
But they might not finish in the top 4 if that quarterback doesn't pop. All right, Trev. Lay it out. What are you thinking? Who's winning divisions? Let's
All right.
start
We're
with.
going all divisions right
Yeah,
now.
let's start with ACC first. Trev will start. Chuck will go, and then I'll go, and then let's go SEC next. Let's go ACC first.
All right. I like Florida State
I do too.
from the ACC. I think
Sorry,
they
I'll
have
go
the
with you,
best
Trev. I'm
Fuck, man. I
best
guess
team on
yeah.
paper.
No,
as
you can't
far as
disagree.
I can
And
see it.
the only thing that will stop them is their strength of schedule might actually be, their Achilles heel, where you take too many losses.
correct.
Even if there are quality losses, 3 losses
Again,
does
and then Clemson doesn't, and then
right.
they-
And Clemson's got 1
it's
loss.
really the
kind of thing.
Clemson versus Florida State game that might
that
decide
could
the
rattle the
ACC
cage. Sure.
because it could come down to some weird.
Do we think
tiebreaker.
UNC has a shot though? I
UNC
mean, come on,
Miami
we're Drake
are a
May's
bit of
supposed
a
to
wild
be the
card.
dude.
But
Yeah,
I don't
like-
think they have enough talent. When they play this Clemson / Florida State team,
Right,
games,
one great
three-
quarterback
they're
against
3
yeah.
solid.
I mean, yeah, they
But
have
they
that
can't
chance
get
to
to
win,
2.
but the better teams are definitely Clemson.
Fair enough.
Florida
Fair enough. So FSU,
The
though,
quarterback
we're,
puts them
we're,
at 3.
we're pretty much in
Unison?
Yeah.
The
yeah.
quarterback puts them at 3. Without Drake, they're probably like a 5 or a 6. Drake puts them at the 3 spot in that division.
Oh wow. Okay. All right.
All right, what conference do you want to tackle?
Let's go SEC.
SEC.
The big boy.
Might as well. Oh no, let's do them last.
Okay, yeah, that makes more sense.
Pac-12 next.
Sure, why not?
Get the fuck out of here.
We all
Go
know.
ahead.
I mean, I think this
You
is
guys
a
say it.
homer
Say it.
picks
Fight
across
on.
the board. I got
Say it.
USC going
Say
undefeated.
it.
Fight on.
Undefeated. Fight on, baby.
Fight on.
Say it.
Undefeated.
Top 4.
God damn it.
Top 4. Fight on.
Wait, what do you want out of me?
This is the second year,
You want-
Riley. You
You
know it's
want,
gonna be hot.
you want my sportscaster take, or you want my fucking...
No, I
Yes.
don't want your sports. Give me the fandom check. Give
Yeah,
it to me.
yeah, I'm gonna
But do you
bleed
think
purple
what-
and gold.
but
Let's go,
what's your-
Penix.
What's your difference in your sportcaster take and your fan?
My passion take is that if I'm looking at the rosters from top
Because I
to
do
bottom,
like Washington's roster.
absolutely.
Yeah. The Pac-12
Yeah.
has some good teams.
Correct.
There's that.
And they're going
It's
to miss out on
unfortunate. Okay, I think that coach USC, quarterback USC, like receiver maybe Washington, defense USC. Like
Oh.
if you're looking at the overall. Like no, Washington wasn't good on defense either, dude.
Okay.
We were very porous on. I'm talking about this transfer portal. We did not do the work in the transfer
We
portal.
did
Yeah,
more
yeah.
work, but it's still got to come together.
Right? No, but I'm just saying
100%.
though, like you're like
100%.
pure homerism wants the dogs all day, baby. Like
All
I'm
day.
all
The
day.
dogs.
But as a sportscaster, you think SC wins it?
It's come on, like I don't even think Oregon comes close. I think that Washington outperforms Oregon. I think that Oregon outperforms Oregon State.
Or
I
you
don't
have
think
Utah.
Cal Washington State.
I think Utah might be USC's
I
biggest
think
threat.
no.
I
I
do
think
too.
I think
I do too. I think I like Washington with the quarterback, but there's that Cameron Rising some bitch and the fucking dude. I give him
I
credit,
think
more
Utah's
credit in the
gonna.
world.
I think Utah's gonna plummet. I think
Him
I
and
don't-
William have this
Fingers
fucking
crossed.
connection.
I think that after 7 years of a
I
starting
don't know,
quarterback,
man.
if you don't have this fucking Cameron Rising guy figured the fuck out, he's been there since like 2001.
He keeps winning, dude.
He's that
Like,
guy.
him and
How
William
does
have
he keep
such
getting
a
eligible
great,
years?
dude. Him and William have a great.
He's like
connection.
37.
But I think it is SC. I think that's a good division.
It's a joke.
And I think it's gonna get really downplayed about how good division.
so
it
we
is.
All right, no,
Unison
okay,
there, too,
so
then?
it's unison, it's SC.
All right,
It's
we got
SC.
We're all 3 for 3.
Big Big 12.
Big 12?
Big 12.
I don't think I mean I think it's probably gonna be Texas. I
I
don't
think
that
it should be Texas. I think they have
The
best
hype
team on
machine
paper.
says Texas from
this
top
I
to
think
bottom.
might be the worst year for the Big 12.
Oh yeah, no. Both
think
of the
it's gonna be
Kansas
rough,
teams are
too.
going to be rough. I think Oklahoma
Oklahoma's
and
still
Oklahoma
working.
State are
It's
going to be
still
rough. Yeah.
It's
Work in
better when
progress.
Oklahoma and Oklahoma State are good, and
Sure,
then
but I
Kansas
don't
State's
think-
like that third team.
They
working
are
to get
sneaky
to-
good sometimes. They can do that
But that-
17 range.
But
right
that's
there.
when that team. That's when that division's good. is when
Sure,
they're, like,
sure.
working that.
Dude, and Oklahoma's ranked, but I could see Oklahoma State being better.
I could.
I
too.
agree. I think Oklahoma is we were saying at 11 is vastly overrated. Yeah.
Correct.
No, so Texas should take it.
Should.
Texas should take it. That's
I mean, I
so
hope they do.
preseason Texas. Like I mean, without barring injury
Correct.
or
Yeah,
So we're 3
something.
for 3.
I mean, yeah, so far it's been pretty straightforward.
Big 10.
Michigan. Oh no, maybe Ohio State. Ohio State.
I am Michigan.
I think everything lines up
Never pull for
for
those motherfucking
Michigan,
Buckeyes.
and I prefer Michigan, but I think Ohio State is one of the more talented teams in college football. I think them and Georgia are probably the most talented.
I agree,
How could they not
but I
be
think J.J.
really
McCarthy
right now?
plays himself into the top 15. Michigan rolls.
A lot of it's gonna come on his shoulders. Like
Rolls.
he's gonna be the difference whether they are the champion of the Big Ten for
No,
the third
I
straight
think
year,
they're
or OU comes back.
correct. I think they fucking,
Realistically, I'm taking OSU.
okay. So
I'm
this
taking
is
the
our first.
Buckeyes.
This is
Who
our
you taking?
first.
I'm taking the Buckeyes.
The
I'm
Buckeyes.
the only Michigan
I'm
one.
taking the
then.
Buckeyes.
I am actually taking Ohio State too.
Ohio
State's
if
one of
I'm
the
not
teams I
taking
hate
Washington to win
the
the
most.
Pac-12, I would much rather see Michigan win
I-
the Big Ten. Believe me, Big Blue over Big Red any
Yes,
fucking
I
day.
Oh,
get it.
yeah.
I just think it's a talent thing.
I'm
Yeah,
going
no, I
back.
think that Ryan Day and what they're doing at the receiver. We've talked about literally 5 to 7 potential first-round picks coming out of that school.
Oh yeah.
Preseason, not like they played them way into that. Or, like
they got
later
another
in the
tackle coming out.
combine.
They got another receiver
They
coming
got
out.
those guys.
They got another defensive
I'm not
back
saying
coming
that,
out.
but Harbaugh and Michigan can absolutely. They have now put themselves on that level where the availability is there to win the conference.
Dude, I
And
got them in
the-
like 4.
The other thing that kind of leans Michigan's way is it is in Ann Arbor this year, that game.
Well, the big house versus the horseshoe is a
Yep.
big difference for sure.
That's where they're
Okay.
going to play.
JJ McCarthy.
I'm
bringing
still
it home.
I'm still taking OSU though.
Right.
I still am. Okay. All right.
So then the last big conference, the SEC.
Shit.
Georgia.
Man. How could
Even
you?
though I don't know the quarterback, I have more faith in what Georgia's bringing in over what Bama's bringing in. And I
Even
think
over
this
LSU?
Kirby Smart. Oh, fuck.
Calm down. Take a deep breath.
I'm
LSU
right there with you,
is in
dude.
the West. West
Bama,
versus-
LSU, and Georgia are all good
right there.
teams.
They're all sniffing each other's butts, dude.
I'm going to take Georgia. I'm going to take Georgia to win the conference, but I think I have LSU as my number 4 team.
Well, we're going to talk about that
I know.
coming up real quick because I'm with you there. What about you? Which guy?
I think Braden Daniels makes too many mistakes to be number 1. That's what I think. I really do. I think that Georgia's talent is just so over the top.
I think that Kirby Smart's got that.
And that's the
machine
other thing. I think Kirby
rolling.
Smart has taken more of a
I
steps
think-
than Nick Saban
I
has.
do too. I think that he is more progressive in
I
the
do
way
too.
that he functions. His
Great
team,
call with
like-
the progressive. That's
Yeah,
a great word.
Because it's not
It's a
to
great
say
word.
that Nick Saban isn't a hell of a coach and he can't connect and he can't get the drive out.
But
of
it's a
people.
progressiveness.
Exactly.
I like
Kirby
it.
Smart is continuing to push the envelope on how
Yeah.
you run an offense and how you run a defense and where you put people and how it.
And-
Georgia has been very fun to watch the last couple of years. The offense has been
Dude, because
good.
but the
that
talent
defense
is
has been
outrageous.
insane.
The talent's outrageous.
That's what I'm saying. That defense, come the fuck on, dude. Okay, all right.
Look
So
at the
picking it
defensive
overall,
players.
though, huh?
Look at the players they put out in the NFL,
Yeah,
dude.
it's been solid for the last handful of
It
years.
is amazing to watch.
Who's going to win the SEC this year is going to be
Good call on the LSU pick, though.
Florida. No, I'm just playing.
LSU is a
Um,
huge fucking.
I don't think LSU is gonna do it overall. I'm not gonna go against Georgia. I'm just not. Like, I've taken chalk, you guys. I've wimped out of this argument. To be fair,
Did
like
you go?
I went Georgia.
So
I'm-
that's a consensus. there,
I'm
too?
going with Georgia.
The only
I-
one that we didn't consent on is the
Big
I
Ten.
went Michigan.
You went Michigan. We went Ohio State.
And I thought LSU for a little bit. I love Brian Kelly. I just think LSU's schedule and seeing
it's
Florida
not-
State could be a loss, which could end up not putting.
Because it's not.
No, but it's a division, so I mean, it's tough.
It is.
It's tough.
Yeah, well,
I'm
come
going
on.
Georgia. I'll pick LSU. I am changing.
Shut the. I swear to God.
Nope, because I just talked myself into
You
it,
did?
thinking about
In
Jaden
your head?
Daniels, and it's not the Florida State pick that loses them the division. I'm
No,
going
it wouldn't. That
right,
wouldn't. No,
I'm going
absolutely not.
LSU. I think LSU wins the division.
All right. Well,
Or
let's
wins the
get into
conference.
it then. Let's do our playoff.
Top four.
Top
Who's
four.
Who's making the last top four?
Do we want to?
I
say
think
our
we just
top
give
four,
our
or do you wanna
final
go
four.
four?
I think we should
No, let's
just-
just go four.
I think you just
Let's
be
not
top
rank
four,
them
yeah,
1 through 4.
for sure.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
because I agree.
I'll start.
Go.
Okay, I just called LSU wins the SEC, so they
Right.
have to be in.
Yeah, for sure.
USC's in. I think that the other team
Michigan.
is Michigan,
Right.
and the last team is another SEC team, and it is Georgia. I think Texas.
Georgia
just
gets in with one.
I think
loss.
Texas gets skipped out on, and Ohio State. Michigan takes that Ohio State job, or takes that Ohio State section.
Okay.
So I have 2 SECs with USC.
What
And
about you, Chad?
Well,
Florida. Oh wait, I said Florida State.
no,
No,
you didn't.
hold
You left
on.
them out.
Hold on.
You
I got
Because
LSU,
Right.
Florida
You have
State.
two SECs.
I don't have 2 SECs.
You're taking
I have
State
Florida
over.
State and LSU, even
over
though
Georgia?
one of them. Yep.
I don't see how Georgia gets left out with one
You-
loss.
I think Georgia loses another
You
game.
think they lose 2 games?
Yeah, and not
Their
winning the
schedule
conference.
is super soft.
I know, but not winning against LSU. I think Florida State gets in.
Ooh.
Florida State is at AC because they beat Clemson in the ACC game, and Georgia just doesn't with the schedule.
I mean,
I don't
like
know, man.
Florida
I don't
State.
think the ACC gets in.
I don't.
I
So,
don't. I mean, I
Florida
don't
State's
think
my-
Florida State's going to be the champion. I
Florida
don't think
State's
they get
my
in.
4, with LSU being
We
my
said we
1.
were going to do one.
I know. With LSU
It's
being my
coming.
1, SC's my 2, and my 3 is Michigan. Those are my 4.
All right.
I love the Florida State team, but I
don't
love
like
the
them.
LSU team. So them playing at the beginning really conflicts it for me. So I'm making them both in my top 4 because I like them so much.
Dude,
Probably not the right
I
pick.
mean,
I love it.
I mean, that early season loss is the best time to have it.
I hate how chalk my argument is here. I hope that it's wrong.
We going chalk?
Basically, dude, I'm going to take Ohio State, Georgia, USC. That's one.
Well,
two.
USC isn't chalk.
I guess that's technically not. Yeah, no. I'm very high on SC. If I'm being completely unbiased, I think that team's gonna blow the doors off the fucking nation this year. I really do. Like, I think they're sick of being undervalued. I think Lincoln Riley's got that.
But that's what I think
going in the
Michigan
right direction.
too.
No, I think that Michigan has hit their peak. I think they are what they are. They tried and they could not succeed, and I don't think they're coming close. I think that Ohio State comes back to form. And
Ohio State, USC, Georgia.
Right.
Who's your last team?
The fourth team is that's the real big question mark. I really like. But it can't happen with Georgia and LSU. It would, huh?
I said you better make a decision. Don't give us.
No, I know. I'm not gonna not. I'm just saying. I think that LSU is probably the best other team. That's outside of moving SC. Inside of there. I think the top four is pretty close to accurate as it is.
I think that college football is one of the only sports where the coach, or college basketball, not even college basketball as much. College football is one of the only sports where the coach can get you wins over another team.
That is, yeah,
your
that
Brian
can very
Kelly's,
much
your
happen.
Lincoln Riley's,
That can very much
your
happen.
Kirby Smarts. I think that Saban has lost that edge. I think that your Kirby's,
I think it's sneaky
your
one,
Knicks,
honestly.
or your Lincoln Riley's, your Brian Kelly's get you those wins.
I
think a
they're
dude
gonna
on
make
the
it,
up and
but I
comer
think-
is the kid from Tennessee, Heupel. I think Heupel's getting detained this year because they got the investigation, so they're getting like scholarships crossed off. I think Heupel is somebody to watch out for in Tennessee.
Guy for the East.
Well, I think Tennessee, maybe not this year. You're losing some stuff. I think Heupel
back
stays
stuff
with
for
them.
him.
Get the fuck out of the way. He's an up and comer.
The fuck out of it.
So
I think Penn State is a dark horse.
I'm worried because
I
I'm worried about
really
that
do.
James Franklin never cracks it.
But
My
that's-
one worry is, and then they don't
I
have the
understand.
QB. You don't have the QB, and it's for some
That's
reason
the
James
Notre
Franklin
Dame.
always is like,
That's
oh, he's right there. Oh fuck, he doesn't get it.
Right.
It seems like
That's
that.
the Kyle Shanahan.
It seems like the guy. Oh fuck.
Hey,
Light words.
28.
Like James Franklin, very much right, boys. You get there, and then all of a sudden Franklin can't get it. Franklin really seems
Dude,
like
he's
he's got
not
that.
Jerry Sandusky.
And he's got no quarterback. College
You
football, I
never
think-
needed a quarterback in Penn State. Christian Hackenberg went up there and won.
Yeah, but where does he ever Penn State won it? Actually, nothing. They've been good. In college football, you can't win without a top quarterback unless your defense is unstoppable.
Elite, sure.
So
What you got, Jeff?
my list looks like Chuck's, or maybe Chuck's looks like mine. I'm not sure. I see it that way too. I think USC, this is their year. They're going to be one of the 4 teams. Georgia, I think they only lose one because of their soft schedule, and that's going to put them in.
I know.
I think, again, Georgia and Ohio State are the most talented teams, so I think that's going to get them in. I have them over Michigan, and I really like LSU again. I mean, they beat Bama last year. I like
that's West
Kelly.
versus East, so
As far as the teams in the SEC, with what they brought back, I think they're the team that's going to be like.
I do
they're
agree.
lower in the rankings. I think they could be the best.
I think my non-Georgia in the top 4 is probably a little too much. I love Florida State, and I love what LSU brings. And
I love you taking a shot, though. I want you to be right. I want college football
I'm
to
probably
be a
not
little
going to be
bit
Georgia.
more roller
Trevor's
coaster.
right. Trevor's right.
Oh, I'm sorry. I only gave that top 4 first, too.
Well, no, but Trevor's right about calling that Georgia has the easiest. Georgia has such a cake schedule.
Which
You guys are probably
which
both
is
right
lame.
in calling
Why
it,
did you do that?
but it is
Why would you
Trevor
do
calling
that?
that Georgia's schedule's that easy.
Well, to be fair, I mean Georgia really.
It's not
they
their
have
fault that side of the
scheduled-
SEC sucks. So.
Yeah, they have scheduled.
But
well
that's what
in
the out of
past
conference
seasons,
is bullshit, though.
But this season it just felt that way.
I know, but the out of conference bullshit sucks.
Right. No.
Because if
you
you're
can't
set to
control your
division-
conference, but you can't control your out of
Because if
conference.
your conference sucks, like say you're like the 1 year that you're on the
Big 12.
Wisconsin side and Wisconsin sucks and everybody else Minnesota
Oh, and
sucks.
the Big Ten, yeah, right.
Right.
You're playing Purdue and you're playing fucking.
But it's really cool
right.
when Wisconsin,
Nebraska. You're like, God, you guys are terrible.
But
like,
it's really cool when Wisconsin and Minnesota are good because then that side's really good.
Sure.
But those years that they're not good, or the Georgia
You
side,
need to buff up your
you're
fucking
out of conference
you have
schedule of
to.
playing fucking Chattanooga fucking State and South
Hey,
Alabama
man.
and
Middle Tennessee State, okay, the Blue Raiders. Watch
but
out.
that's bullshit. That is
It
bullshit.
Bowling Green Falcons, let me tell you.
And it sucks. And those teams get good paychecks. It's awesome. I'm a fan of a small team in
Appalachian
Nevada. I
State.
love the paychecks. It's a bullshit fucking scheduling.
I forgot to mention Nevada USC. I think it's like.
Hey,
Oh, it's an ass kick.
let's go
It's an ass
UNR. Let's go
But
UNR.
let's take it to
Fuck
the next
Trojans.
level.
Fuck it.
Who you got
Oh,
in the
that-
championship?
Oh,
This is a fandom pick for one.
Oh yes, it is. It's heavy fandom.
I guess it depends on how it plays out in the 1v4.
Yeah,
I have a USC Michigan.
I got USC LSU.
I was gonna say that, and I knew you were gonna say that, so I have Michigan, so I give you different.
I have
I-
I have them as my 3 and 4, and I have them beating both the more talented teams as I see it in Ohio State and Georgia.
I see that Ohio.
OSU, LSU.
So I love that you guys are both putting LSU. The only reason I just threw Michigan is because
OSU,
I wanted to
LSU, and that moves the fucking.
And I
needle.
think LSU is
That's
actually
a
more the
big
bigger fit.
matchup.
I think LSU is more the fit. My more of the pick would have been the USC LSU, but I saw Trev had it, so I went USC Michigan. I do really think that the
Michigan ain't getting to the title game.
Dude,
dog.
I'm telling you,
you're high
JJ
on that.
McCarthy, Harbaugh this year.
$1 podcast.
Run 'em, I
$1. Put it down, Downey.
We'll figure out something else.
$1.
We're gonna figure out something else about bets because we're gonna go look at the.
We're gonna make a lot of them coming
We're
up.
gonna
With
go look at the
football,
circus
yeah,
stuff.
with the football.
Circa's got a eliminator.
$1.
We got a couple of them. No, I think we
$2.
I think we do other things. Not like
$2.
Dan Patrick. No, Dan Patrick does pies to the face. I think we do other things. I think we do other things. Figure out something to do on camera. I think we do other things. Maybe not.
We're gonna
money.
make bets, yo.
We'll
We live in
figure it out.
Nevada, the Wild West.
We're gonna figure
Parlays.
it out. That was a great college football section, boys.
No, I love that. I think that there was some good for like it being speculatory for a little while until it really takes shape. Week 0, I
You
love.
never know
I
until
don't know
you
why
get
the
to the
fuck
first
they
couple
call it
games.
Week 0. Just call it Week 1 NCAA. But it's coming up shortly, you guys. We're literally like 2 weeks away.
We're gonna pop our
boy.
third brewski of this pod, and then we're gonna jump into a common sense that's one that's kind of depressing a little bit because it's one of guys that me and Trev's pretty high on, and then our fandom is a nice little fun fandom again as always.
Oh yeah.
So thanks guys, we'll see you back in a little bit.
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
Bye. Welcome back, boys.
We back.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah, cheers. We're doing a 3rd edition.
It's the remix edition.
Oh, that's really good. That's a
Oh,
nice
that
little
song
pilsner.
about pissing.
All right, Chuck, what are you drinking here, pal?
Excited State. It
This
is
is what the can looks like.
unfiltered Pilsner, and I gotta tell you right now, it's kind of alright. Not necessarily something I would lean on because it's basically just a straightforward pills.
Yeah, you don't start with it's a good ender.
Good ender.
100%.
5%er. Abel Baker's out of Vegas, so they actually do make some solid beer. Their IPA Atomic Duck is worth a view.
We had that right on this pod.
I don't think
with
we've
the
had it
Rubby
on the
Duck.
pod.
Oh, I've
but
seen
we've
it
definitely
then. I've
drinking
definitely
it
seen
together.
it.
No, I think we've drank it together, just
Oh,
not
that's
necessarily
okay.
on
Yeah.
the pod.
Not on the pod yet.
But yeah, Able Baker overall very good brewery. I've had good stouts from them. I've had some good sours from them. Shout out. Normally, I'm not a Vegas guy. but
Straight Forest Pilsner.
Oh, yeah.
Pilsner.
No,
It's-
100%.
It's just a drink
Light,
at the end of the night.
5% easy. Just that'll go down. That IPA was tasty. That Get Bent was good, but
Real good. But
That
it's
was-
a little, can't be knocking back double.
gave it
on
a little
that.
kick. Gave it a little kick.
Yeah.
So let's jump into common sense. We got a double.
I got a couple of them. Yeah.
We're gonna start off by saying we were gonna use this for common sense 2 weeks ago. It's the Northwestern stuff. We didn't because
It's been out for a little bit.
Correct. The article on when it first came out, we were first going to use it, but the article on ESPN, we read it, and it wasn't really throwing anything, and we wanted to throw it when we had all the facts,
Sure.
and then all of a sudden, once our episode ended that night, boom, more facts.
It was
came out.
literally the next night that it was just like, by the way, all this behavior is terrible.
So we haven't necessarily been dodging this. We've been trying to get the facts and bring it up at this point, and
I wanna bring the
facts,
truth.
Facts are up, and there's a lot
It's
of
so
bullshit that's
bad,
happening.
dude. It's so
when the
bad.
sexual stuff starts getting called into play, it's not just like the harassment, but when sexual stuff starts getting into play, it's
Yeah, when it
where,
goes
you
from
know,
words to physical touch, it's a very different
and then
concept.
all of a sudden baseball coaches getting fired, other coaches at Northwestern. It's not necessarily just a football program. It seems like it's a
Yeah, it was
school
across
campus-wide.
issue.
campus-wide for sure.
Yeah.
And
Disgusting.
A lot of lawsuits coming out. It's a bad time for Northwestern fans. It's going to be a rough.
Which is great because they're a very prestigious school.
Yes,
dude.
that's a really good
NU
school to
is,
go
yes,
to.
is-
And they
is a
just
very
got
good,
good.
And it was nice to
reputable
see them
school.
good at football because you're like, dude, that's another one of those schools where you got to be a smart kid.
Sure.
So you got to be good at school, like AKA Stanford, where you're really good at school and still good at football. That's really
Boo.
hard. And then now you find out.
Boo.
I mean, it's bad. And we were doing the talk, but we didn't want to like hit it, and then now we're hitting it.
Well, because we were gonna rail on them when we first saw all of it, and then it kind of it was
the
a roller
article
coaster.
was real.
It
Like,
was very roller coastery in the fact that it was
Yeah.
like, oh, they didn't know what was going on, and like they didn't know that all of this and blah blah blah. Then it came out, and it was like everybody knew what the fuck was going on, and it was written on whiteboards, and then it was like everything's inconclusive, and nobody has any idea.
Yeah.
It was like, wait, what the fuck? Like
so the reporting on this wasn't great either.
it was very
sucks when the school
one foot in the
newspaper-
pool.
It sucks when like the school newspaper breaks the biggest stuff, and your ESPNs and your Foxes aren't. Like, where are your insiders at that point? Like, what's going on?
They picked it up eventually.
Right, but it's just it's a real bummer to see it. It was cool. Like we just talked about, to root on the Northwestern when they were good, but this isn't just a
It's-
football program. This is campus wide. That's bullshit. That shit shouldn't be happening.
It's something that we've touched on before and we'll probably touch on again, is that like power corrupts, and even at a level where like collegiate people, you're talking 19, 20, 21, 22 year olds, we're talking just into adulthood, very, impressionable humans, like whether they're males or females or whatever. I'm just saying at that age you can buy into a bunch of stupid shit.
Yep.
Right? Like,
Oh, for sure. But
it's-
just for them to let them get away with everything.
for a long while, like
And it seemed like for a long time, like you heard, it was like, well, where's all the complaints? And then there's one, and then now it's like there's a bunch coming in. There's
well,
like
now
a
that
lot.
they know that it's
Cat's out of
okay
the
to let
bag.
them out, now that it's been like go, yeah, you're gonna like it's obviously been a problem there for a while, right? Like that's
Yeah.
it was that Michigan State thing, the Baylor thing, like it's
Fuck, man, both
deep,
those are awful
runs
too.
deep.
And
No, I
Larry
know,
Nance
but this
just got stabbed a bunch of times.
yeah, he sure the fuck did, yeah, because he's Chomo, dude. I will drink to stabbing a Chomo. I'm not gonna lie, like.
Fuck you,
That's-
Larry.
Yeah, fuck you. You disgusting pig.
All right.
But dude, it is bullshit. Like we should be seeing that shit from these soft colleges. We should be standing up for our young people and not letting this shit happen. It's on everybody.
It's no, I guess everybody, but it's very much on the people in power.
Yeah.
And
Correct.
it's the people who control the ability.
But it's also
to,
on the football players that aren't saying anything if the stuff did happen.
No,
'Cause
but
Greg Newsome, the
but
kid
if you
from
were the
Brown-
overlord, and you know that's going on, you shut that shit down. A 22-year-old's gonna pick on a 20-year-old.
But like Greg Newsome, the kid came out a couple years ago, really good cornerback for the Browns,
Right.
came out and was like, "That's bullshit. None of that stuff happened." And I mean, that kind of makes him look bad that he's back.
I mean,
with Pat
that's a little
Pitts.
blowback there because obviously it had to have. It's not. It didn't just happen last year.
Right,
Like,
and
that's
he's
an
a stud too,
institutional.
so it's I mean top pick.
Right.
So
Yeah.
when he's coming out and
That reflects poorly.
saying something on the coach, then more shit comes out. It's a real tough situation.
So
to roll.
then maybe he just bought into the idea that he was like, look, dude, I'm trying to keep it, like, I'm not trying to, start the fire.
I really hope
like,
that maybe he missed. I don't know.
he lied. He lied.
Then why
Period.
say anything at that point?
Sure. Because you're the dude. You're the most recent stud out of NU. It's kind of on your back, and you don't want to see that tarnishment on something that you put a fucking banner on, right? Like,
Sure.
you don't ever want to see where your pride has fallen, and he may or may not have anything to fucking do with it. I'm not specifically
Yeah.
pointing the finger at him in any fucking
At all.
capacity, but
It was weird when it came out because then the one article came out that we saw. Well, then he says something. You're like, well, obviously this pro player comes out and says something, and so it's okay. This article's maybe a little like.
No, there was
then all of a sudden, right after Newsom says
bad
something,
things. bad things happen
boom,
in
and
the
it's just hit
Northwestern.
left
So
and
boom,
right.
common sense. Be better to young people. Be better to people. Don't fucking bully.
there's
Don't
also
haze.
like the
Don't
bullying and the hazing is
consent.
bullshit.
Anything sexual harassment. Inappropriate. Come on, you guys. We joke about things. But then there are levels where you need to knock it the fuck off, dude. Like, it's a that's just... Once again, we drank to a chomo getting stabbed, and I'm all for it. Like, I don't fucking...
Common sense number
Not
2.
Common sense.
Jordan Addison, 140 miles an hour cited. But this is supposedly the second time. The first time he wasn't cited. Did you not learn anything from the rug stuff?
Oh my god, dude. The PR coming out of the fucking NFL is just... They have to be losing their mind.
What are you doing? You're literally...
What do you do if
me and Trevor projected you to be maybe rookie of the year.
Potentially rookie of the year. Very much so.
And you're doing these kind of actions. Why are you even drive drive that fast? For one, because you could die. You could kill multiple people. Number 2, if you were like messed up, why are you even driving? You should have one of your boys driving. He didn't get cited for being drunk or anything, but
no, he was just an idiot. Driving while idiot.
Yeah, there was no
alcohol.
None of that
in the picture. It's a young kid coming in a lot of money, buying a Lamborghini, wanting to see how fast he could go.
Rip it. But we don't have the Autobahn. Go fly out to Europe, rent a Lamborghini, and fucking drive it on the Autobahn where that's legal.
Sure. After coming into the money, you can rent a track in America. You don't even have to go out of states. You can do that without endangering others.
You went from 0 to 1,000, and I get that.
But you're not thinking that. You're
not.
You're young, and you're like, I just got a Lamborghini. I want to see how fast this is going to go.
You got a money boner, and you're trying to scream it as fast as you can. That's what it is. Yeah, dude, I get it. I would be a horrible person if I came into a large amount of money quickly.
Especially before you're 20.
That's something. Oh my god! Especially knowing, I was a bad enough person without that much money. I could only imagine what I would be with it, dude. Holy shit! But okay, to speak to it, Jordan Addison though, like, dude, we've talked about the same common sense now several times on different occasions, and especially the NFL, the PR mess that they have to deal with.
Dude, we were young. We didn't have a lot of money, but we still
Ruggs absolutely fucked that all up with killing that baby.
He was playing so well at that point too.
Just the speed, it's not going to be looked at the same. There's now residual effects from other causes.
Exactly. When you just had the Ruggs incident, the Georgia incidents,
all of it seems to deal with driving. All of it seems to deal with driving, whether it's intoxicated or not.
Fucking room.
Yeah.
Dude, you just don't do it. You can't. No matter what you want.
There's so many other ways to get adrenaline. There's so many other ways.
Don't do it in public.
So many other ways.
You can't you go to a track like these guys had. You get your fix driving fast somewhere else.
Don't do that. Put on a fucking parachute and go jump out a plane, dude. That's the fucking biggest rush you're ever gonna get.
Driving 140 in a Lambo, did you hit somebody? You maybe that
yourself.
person?
If you hit anything, even if it's just a wall or any a stoplight,
it's
you
the
don't
second
hit.
time
You can hit an inanimate object at 140 miles an hour. You are done. You are done.
It kind of shows me too is. You're a professional now. You have your business is your hands. Well, and
you
your
also
body.
think about Jordan Addison wasn't young coming out of SC either. He was, he's supposed to be more of the veteran presence for, I guess, a rookie anyway, right? He wasn't super young coming out of SC. Yeah, so
it just shows me something. I'm never the want to be the GM that takes the dude that's doing the 140. It just shows me it's our common sense.
But I guess how are you supposed to know that? How are you supposed to know that, right? You draft him in the position that you're in.
Has he done it before?
I don't know.
But you find out when you're doing those interviews. When you're doing those interviews, you find out.
You should.
People talk.
Is Dave Chappelle funny? That's the only question I would ask. I can tell everything I need to know based off.
I hope everybody says yes.
Right. You're gonna weed yourself out.
Maybe you don't. Maybe you don't.
And then you're not getting drafted by the Seattle Chucks.
But I want like when I'm drafting like the Z Raiders, the Z
Raiders, the
I'm
Las
drafting-
Vegas Downies.
I'm literally drafting dudes that like we've talked about the Kyrie stuff, we've talked about the James Harden stuff.
Right, no,
I'm drafting dudes
I'm,
that, whether
I'm
in
way
any
more on
sport,
personality,
Character.
Yeah,
Character
100%.
I'm like all about
That's
talent,
how
dude.
you
I want
establish a culture.
I want a dude that shows up at
I
fucking 5:30 in the morning and doesn't leave
Hungry.
till fucking
He's
7:30.
hungry.
He's putting up all these shots. Why are you shooting the basketball like that? Maybe it's gonna happen one day in the game. I don't know. I'm out here fucking throwing up 100 baskets while you're fucking in there doing nothing.
You just
Like I want the dude that's
I
fucking
agree.
filming out. I don't care if you're the most talented. I want hard workers and I want dudes that are there for the emblem, whether it's my emblem, like the whatever.
The name
team
on
I
the front
own.
of the jersey is
Yes.
more important than the name on the back. Is what
At
you're
the
saying.
but also I want also going to be the owner that's going to be giving you the same.
Oh, if
Heart,
you come
like
in
the
here and you show
Steelers-
me respect, you're
Yeah,
gonna get respect in return.
100%. But I want you to
Absolutely.
also be the dude that's like.
Now
for
you
the
also
name.
do have to acknowledge that hard work doesn't always translate to success, and
Correct.
sometimes you do have to just take the freaks that like
Understand
DeAndre
that.
Hopkins doesn't like to practice. I would still want him on my team.
I would want to sign. There would be other dudes I want to sign, and if he was the last one, I would take him for the talent. But that does bother me. I want dudes that are out working, and I'm not talking about like doing crazy ass practices.
I'm still signing D-Hop. I mean, I wish. the
I'm gonna
Seahawks
look
would
at
have-
other dudes over that at that.
I would-
I would sign him.
I like that they weren't even in the conversation because I like that trio that we're gonna trot out there. God damn it, dude! I got that
Well, I
tingling
wouldn't- why
feeling
would you-
about the Seahawks, y'all. I got it.
But
And
why
I
would
don't-
you
I'm
put D-Hop in
overexcited.
that sitch? There's like that's a
Because
weird
he's
spot.
a fucking monster.
But
when
then
he's
you're
healthy.
no, because I think that you have. You
He's
could
a
potentially
true
have.
WR1. I don't know if
But
DK
you could
Metcalf's WR1. I like Tyler Lockett more in that system than I do DK Metcalf.
Well, I would say you have two really good
100%.
twos, and then the JSN might end up being your WR1 at the end of the year.
Nah, not gonna happen that way. We don't throw enough into the slot. Like he
I
will
don't
make
know.
a
Maybe
he will
you
make a
should start.
difference.
Yeah, I think it might be a difference this year.
We're gonna, it's gonna, and then throw.
So let's jump into the fandom. I know Common Sense was always usually downers. Our fandom's usually uppers. So today, I'm going to start. Today, Scott Rowland got taken into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Watching some of Scott Rowland's highlights.
That's a tough one to get into right there.
Watching Scott Rowland play third base is fucking amazing. Diving to your left, coming up. There was multiple times where he came down, was sitting on his ass, throwing it from third base. That's a long ass throw from third base. Sitting down on
120
your
feet,
butt.
right?
Yeah, throwing it from your butt, throwing a strike over there. My fandom today is baseball highlights are the best.
The best.
They when
Even
you
over
watch,
a big hit or a
when you
great
watch
catch,
top
I don't
10,
know, man.
your
Great
top-
catches.
your
Oh
top
my
10 in
God.
bait when you watch the Sports Center top 10 during the seasons. I think the baseball stuff is up there with easily some of the best.
I don't
The
know.
basketball dunks are nice and stuff. I love the hockey. Hockey's one of my faves. But the baseball catches of the balls getting hit as hard as they do, or infielders diving for balls, making the jump throws, outfielders completely laying out for balls where you're landing. I think baseball easily. I love the football stuff too.
I
I
toe
think
drag
baseball
swag,
is
dude.
easily the
that
best
sideline,
top
that
10.
tippy taps in the NFL when that shit, and you're like bobbling and they come to. I don't know.
Dude, I remember watching.
I'm not saying I don't love me some great infielding or a good fucking robbing of a home run as long as it's not a Mariner home run, but like that shit is impressive. No, baseball highlights are wicked, dude. Don't
Omar
get me wrong.
Vizquel, Scotty Rowland, dude.
They
Robert,
had-
remember Omar Vizquel and Roberto Alvarez double plays made the top 10 because they were so sick, because they were so hard to pull off, because they like the two best infielders of all time with gloves together.
Like,
Dude, it is. Those two together might be the best
I
tandem
mean,
at shortstop
they
and
have
second
an
base.
argument for it for sure.
It's just, I do agree. The football throw drag, getting like laid out over the middle, making a catch. I think that baseball, there's so much grabbing a ball like barehanded and like throwing it across.
The ball
the
is
diamond.
much smaller. You're trying to specifically catch it into a glove on your opposite
I'm
hand.
even
'cause
talking
you
about
gotta
Scotty
keep-
Rowland made it
You gotta
name for
keep
himself
your
grabbing
throwing
the
hand
bare hand.
available for throwing, so you're
Sure.
catching in your opposite hand. Like,
Makes for some great highlights.
oh yeah, no, sprinting, a motherfucker trying to cover, left center, and he's just screaming, and you're like, he might get there, and the full send, and when he gets it,
It dies,
you celebrate
man.
for sure. No, that is.
The robbing of the home run, dude.
Oh, climbing the wall. Oh, is so good when that's timed right.
Bringing it back,
so
dude.
good. Yeah.
Bring
The
back
scoop.
where your wrists and everything go, and it comes back. Oh fuck, dude.
Dude, Ken Griffey was like my favorite to watch.
One of the
that,
best.
bro.
And dude, you're a Mariner fan, and I'm an A's fan. One of the best to watch. Bring it back.
That's sweet.
Andrew Jones.
Oh,
Bring
yeah,
it back,
absolutely. In
dude.
his prime,
Chipper.
Jones is a fucking animal.
Chipper
no
at
doubt.
third. Jim Edmonds.
Chipper was such a
Jim
good
Edmonds.
fucking fielder, man.
Jim Edmonds at center.
Such a good fielder.
Jim Edmonds maybe one of the best we've ever seen at laying out.
He had a good bat too.
Matt Chapman of the A's, as of recently, has won multiple Gold Gloves because he's the best fielder in the league. Watching guys throw across the diamond at 100 miles an hour as they catch like line drives that are barely staying into the fucking line.
Goodness, sorry.
Oof, Trev.
All right, well, I mean, mine is not probably that deep, but I just wanted to touch on the Netflix show Quarterback. I've only watched.
I've
the
heard
first
some
couple
very good
episodes.
reviews.
I heard this is kind of better than Hard Knocks because it's touching on more of the shit we want to know.
Yes, that's kind of how I feel. You're getting the behind the scenes, the off days, the workouts that they're doing away from the team.
The facility, right?
Peyton Manning still does a great job of directing.
Dude, he's so fucking good.
Setting that up. But then you get in the big games from last season. You get in everything that they're going through, like off the field, as far as injuries and workouts that you're not accustomed to seeing. Like the level that they take it to. They have Mahomes, Cousins, and Mariota on this season.
I thought Mariota was a weird choice, by the way, when I saw the roster. The other two made a little bit of sense, because the end of Mariota's year last year, he was rumored he quit on the team is basically what it all came down to. Was that he was done, he didn't want to play anymore, like I'm stepping away kind of thing. So
Well, I haven't gotten to
I don't know if they're
this
going to touch
season.
on that, right? No, I know you said you were early into it, but
But it is a
you
nice.
think that- I don't know if they're going to shit on that.
It's a nice background as far as how you see players, coming up to their position, how they treat it, everything. That
Sure,
goes into it
no
differently.
preparation. I feel you.
And
Yeah.
you get guys in different stages of their career and how they're going about
I would
it.
definitely end
the
up
different
watching
things
it.
that they're doing.
Mariota is weird. It would have been cooler if they would pick maybe a dude that had like at least a solid starting job. Mariota always.
That's
was
what I'm
good
saying.
stock.
Well, Mahomes is a fucking.
Well, I
That's a
think
home
And
that-
run.
Cousins was solid anyways too.
That's the number one. Cousins is and I was gonna say Cousins is a good pick too because he's very much a starting quarterback.
It'd been
who's
cooler to see
relevant
like
in the
a
NFL.
Dak or something who ended up getting
Right,
hurt, and then
right.
Cooper Rush stepped in, and Cooper
Oh,
Rush
Geno Smith.
is really awesome. Or,
Well, yeah, I
They
think
don't
that
really
you're just
care about
going through
Geno,
the different
or-
perspectives, though.
Jalen
Because they're
Hurts.
definitely in
I love
three
it,
different
Jalen
perspectives as far as
Sure,
starting
they have to be.
offense.
I
Sure, sure.
think that now that we just mentioned Jalen Hurts, I know this is way off topic. I think that sometimes more I think about it, Shane Steichen leaving the Eagles might be one of the bigger offseason moves than that we've talked about player-wise. And can the Eagles find an offensive coordinator that match
Defensive
Steichen's
coordinator.
very good
They're gonna
call
be fine.
playing?
They're gonna be fine. They're loaded.
I'm-
They are loaded.
I know that's way
They're
off
gonna be
topic. I
fine.
just Jalen Hurts, and I was thinking about that the other day. About Shane
I
Steichen.
honestly I think the Eagles are head and above in the NFC East.
I just think Shane Steichen's such a stud.
We'll see. I think the Cowboys could.
No, you were
be
pretty
that
high
team.
on the Cowboys. For a Niner fan, you were very high.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But just to put a feather in the cap,
Yeah,
I think it's
sorry,
a Netflix show you should check out. It's getting me. I'm already excited for football this
No, 100%.
season, but it's just another thing, and I think it's done better than most of the Hard Knocks as of late.
Okay.
There's still a couple Hard Knocks that I'll watch.
Sure.
But I'm not watching every season. This I'm in on from the get-go.
I'd rather know
It's-
about the
it's
quarterback than some turd that's going to get cut. Sorry, but
Turd.
good. Yeah, no, and the things that
I
you
want to
see
understand some
behind
of
the
the play
scenes
calling.
is good.
I like that.
Dude, they go over that too. The play calling,
I
how
love that.
crazy
Oh,
that
give me that
gets.
shit
It,
all day long.
yeah,
Give it to me.
you'll enjoy it.
Give it to
I love play
Get
calling.
some.
So my fandom is tied into, I guess it's kind of a group fandom. It's more of a statement /
Basically, all our fandoms end up being group fandoms lately.
In a way,
we just start crushing all on us.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so my thought process was, how many events, or what are some of the very special sporting events that you watched happen that at the time you didn't think were as necessarily epic as they were, or you knew they were fucking epic and you knew you were watching history as it occurred? The couple that I have written down here, the first one, and I remember this vividly, was Cubbies versus the Indians for that fucking World Series Game 7, and it stretched into like, I think 13 innings, 14 innings.
It was edge of your seat
And
shit.
and it was every pitch was like, and I remember my girlfriend was like, we need to go get dinner, and I was like, I need to watch the end of this game. Like, I have, like, order food, whatever you need to do, exactly. Whatever you need to do, you need to do. I have to watch one of these two franchises is going to end one of the oldest fucking losing streaks in the MLB. Dude. Like, I was edging my seat for that one, for sure.
Amazing.
It was fantastic. Amazing. And to see the Cubbies get it was dope, dude. It really was. And then this is a great memory of mine, as I'm a huge basketball fan, was the 6 overtime game between UConn and Syracuse in the Big East tournament, where the UConn actually went on a run. They weren't supposed to be like, they weren't even, like, they were the first 4 out going into the Big East tournament that year, won the Big East tournament, and then won the NCAA
That's
championship.
because they got so fucking hot.
Well, but that's what I'm saying.
I know,
like,
it was cool.
And watching that 6 overtime game against Syracuse, once again being like, yo, we need to leave. And it's like, I cannot leave until this is situated. Like, it was so good. It was so epic. It's like, it's not going to another one. It's not going to another one. No fucking way.
So I'm going to match your knew it was going to be epic. USC, Texas. Leinart versus Vince Young.
Oh, I was like, fuck.
Knew it was going to be epic, and it lived up to
probably
maybe
one of the
it is.
The best national title we've probably ever.
It could be one of the greatest games of all time in all sports. The way the back and forth, the way that everything happened.
You don't script games better than that.
Not at all. Under the radar game, Chuck was talking about making shots. Bulls Pistons, when you had Rip Hamilton knocking down threes, and then remember what's his name for the Bulls, Gordon.
Ben Gordon.
Ben Gordon was knocking down threes in that series, and that was that playoff series right when Ben was kind of really hot, and you had Kurt Heinrich. Dude, remember Ben Gordon and Rip Hamilton were going back and forth in one game, and I remember it being. I would have to.
That was the year that the Pistons beat the Lakers in the finals.
No, that was year after or 2 years after. It wasn't that year because Ben Gordon wasn't for that year, but it was a back to forth game, and it was fucking amazing. Low key game. Remember it being amazing. Didn't think that it was gonna be epic. Ended up being epic.
There you go.
And I wanted to touch on some more of the local fandom. Some of the first thoughts to come to mind. I mean,
I remember. Please give me this one.
So moving to Nevada, we're in the Mountain West. The game that pops in my brain is just Boise State, Oklahoma. That game, those plays.
No, right, absolutely. The Statue of Liberty. Adrian Peterson standing on the sideline.
We all watched Little Giants.
Yeah.
At some point, never thought the Statue of Liberty was going to happen in real life. And it did.
It happened.
In a big-time game.
It was the fucking Orange Bowl, dude.
No,
or the Fiesta Bowl.
The Fiesta Bowl.
The Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah. And off of that, too, I mean,
Boise State, Nevada.
Oh my god, we were all at that game.
I was at that game.
It was frozen.
We were freezing late at night in the cold, sticking it out
in the fucking
field goals.
In the iron goddamn bleachers, frozen over. There's like an inch of ice. Like, you basically had to stand up. You couldn't sit down unless you had a fucking extra seat. Like,
it was a great game.
And Brotzman did or didn't miss those 2 field goals.
If Kaepernick doesn't fumble the ball through the end zone in Hawaii, Nevada ends up maybe making the Fiesta Bowl that year. without that loss against Hawaii, and then they end up being Boise State at number
But yeah,
3.
what a win against Boise.
Oh my God, that was worth rushing the field. Like, you know when you watch the games end and you're like, why did they beat the number 25 team? And no, that was number 4. They were number 4 coming into our house, dude. We were like a 17.5 point dog going into that game, even with Kaepernick.
And that was after the Kaepernick going up to Boise State 2 years before that. And having that 62-65 showdown that made ESPN Classic.
The Kellen Moore, him and Kellen Moore.
And they played it fucking 30 times over because it was such a classic.
And now Kellen Moore is getting an opportunity. He's leaving Dallas. He went to
San Diego.
With LA,
the
Chargers. God, we always fuck that up.
That's alright. We're gonna
dude,
fuck it up
because the Chargers should be in San Diego. That's why. It's not our fault.
100%.
NFL. God damn it.
Things to look for coming up. You have the Women's World Cup. They beat the pants off of
Iran, right? It was Iran was their first game.
No,
Vietnam. I'm sorry, it was Vietnam.
Guess how many shots Vietnam had on goal?
3.
Nope.
2.
Jeff?
2-1.
0. Okay, so great. Good job.
So we're looking forward to things that might actually happen, not just 0 kicks.
Our team had 23 shots on goal. I think we went 3-4 nothing. Vietnam had 0 shots on goal. So keep an eye on that. Training camp has opened up. Just kind of looking for headlines. You've seen some Jets have had a couple of fights.
Basically, you're praying for no injuries.
No injuries and rookies shelling out.
No injuries.
Yep, that's what you're looking for.
Healthy. Your best ability is
availability.
Get the fuck on the field.
Rolling with the training camp. Jets are on the hard knocks.
Hard knocks.
We've seen is we're not going to let them do this. We're not going to let them do that. The team has overview of it, so they can cut whatever the fuck they want out of it. So it is kind of BS.
Sure. So we're not going to see Aaron Rodgers bum.
I would rather see Zach Wilson.
You want to see his bum?
No, I want to see Zach Wilson's attitude through camp. I want to see if he's learning. Aaron's Aaron. I want to see the Zach Wilson.
I'm still excited to watch these Hard Knocks.
Are you?
I am. I think that there's enough around this Jets team to really sell me. I do. Because it's not only Aaron, to be fair. That young squad, Sala, that Quentin Williams coming back.
Right, I would rather see if Mekhi Beckman's coming back.
Sauce is going to be a fucking great personality on it. I think
Sauce gave Aaron.
I think Garrett Wilson, he fucking won Rookie of the Year.
You see that?
Huh?
Sauce gave Aaron Rodgers a necklace with number 8 because that's what Aaron's wearing this year.
Yeah, right.
Sauce gave him a big ass necklace.
He
Sauce is sick, dude.
Yeah, Sauce is literally on a rookie deal, and he's buying the guy who's worth 10 times as much as he is diamonds. Shut the fuck up.
And then I think one of the biggest things.
A-Rod can afford his own diamonds.
I think one of the biggest things to check out that's coming up is trade deadline with baseball.
Buyers, sellers, man.
We don't think the show's moving.
If it does, though, that would be huge. If he does,
we don't think, but I do think that there could be a lot of movement with the teams that are in place and the teams that are not in place. There's a lot of high-paying organizations that aren't in the winning column.
So we're getting super, super close, you guys, to some fucking really good sports coverage, right? We're the precipice.
We're gonna do some betting on the circus stuff. We'll let you know how that goes. Check us out on Instagram, Twitter.
Buzzsprout, Spotify,
YouTube
for our pretty faces, you guys.
Check out these brewskis that we're putting up on the internet and stuff too. They're really good.
We love them, love hearts for sure.
We're definitely not throwing you guys astray. Take a look on that.
Drink them.
Putting bets on the pod too.
Let's do it. $1.
Check it out. We're gonna do something else. We're gonna do pies or something.
Dollars. I want your dollars.
We'll see you guys next time.
Good night.
Good night. Salute.